What's up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of Operation Wisedome. It's Saturday, May 24th. Today we're doing workshops. No featured guests today, but we're looking to get, according to my boy Doug, we're looking to get Ted Pendergrass coming up next Saturday. So if you're interested,
Kurt.
or Kurt, excuse me, sorry, Ted Pendergrass. Look at my ass, Kurt Pendergrass. So if you're looking to to if you've heard of him, hey, he's powerful. He's got some very good sound wisdom. It'd be very beneficial for him to come into Wisedome and give us some of that wisdom, so that it can benefit all. This one's gonna kind of be cool. We're gonna do the workshop. We're gonna be getting into a couple of people's situations, what we've done this overall this week, as far as developments and just some of the things that we've been able to see throughout people joining and into the Discord and just developments, right? Then maybe we'll go into some Wisedome members' situations and what we've been doing with them firsthand. And then maybe some objections. I wanted to go into some information in relation to objections. But first off, what I want to kind of let y'all know about is today is actually a special day. And I'm kind of thankful to be with y'all in here on this special day, which is my live day. So May 24th, 2011, I actually got into a car accident where I flatlined and I got brought back to life. And so this day has always been a day of recognition of gratitude for life, because you never know when you can go. And it's kind of like an anniversary of, me being rebirthed in a sense, going from one state of life, and rebirthing into another and really kind of changing my life from where I was into a new path. And what's been really cool about just this day in particular, May 24th, is that my family always celebrates it. They never forget. And they always let me know in some form or fashion just how thankful they are for this day. Because again, it's a recognition of life and how much we may take it for granted, and how you got to really realize that the things that you see as a big deal in the overall thing or scheme is really nothing at all. Because if you really keep in the back of your mind that tomorrow you could go, tomorrow at 3 p.m., I'm out. That's it. It's done. If you keep that, your life will always be, you'll always live with happiness and gratitude and be thankful. And that stays with me. Being an amputee is definitely an everyday reminder that I'm thankful for life. And you should be too. So today's this very special day. Now, what we've had been going on this week is a lot of developments. One of the guys that I kind of want to have come up and speak on to see if we need to get any more developments on anything. Oh, first off, wait. New guest, new guest. We got a couple new people. Can y'all unmute and come up on the camera and introduce yourself? Please. Take like 1 or 2 minutes. This guy's still in bed.
Hey, what's up, man? I'm Rudy from
Hey, Bedhead.
San Diego Republic. I'm almost Grand Rising. I woke up, checked my email, and I just logged right in. But
I remember you.
yes, sir. Yeah, we were at that. Well, not only the event, but the after event too.
Yeah.
That's right.
How
But
you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Glad to join this group. I was at I think the last one too, and I'm meeting with Joey and done all the Brandon Joe Williams, and this is just another avenue. And I feel the vibes, man. There's a lot to learn, and all you guys are just spitting knowledge every time I listen in, and it's just a blessing, man. It's just a blessing to be here. So
Yeah,
I
for sure.
appreciate everyone.
For sure. Thanks for being here, bro. We appreciate you. Who else we had up here for the first time in Operation Wisedome? Listening from work, Wisconsin, Nicholas, no problem. We had somebody else though. I know there was somebody else. Could have swore I saw somebody else say it was their first time.
Hey guys,
What's up, Jake? Jake,
I'm
you got
Jake.
on
Yeah,
you got on the badass robe, bro. Bro out here kicking it.
yeah,
What?
it's my,
Oh, it's
my
the
Time Pirate
jacket?
robe. Found you through Brandon
Oh.
Joe Williams. Been a
What
big fan of
up?
his since December-ish probably. And I also like to make videos about this stuff. And so crossing paths with you guys, yeah, I'm interested. Just want to listen and see what you got going on. I filed a case this week against my auto finance dealer for tender of payment, specifically following guidelines from Brandon Joe. I'm not in the free car category. I am just taking the payoff statement and properly endorsed it, tendered it them. They refused it, sent it back, called me a sovereign citizen. And so sued them this week in court. And so they'll get served next week, and I'll keep everybody abreast of what happens.
Hell yeah, that's what's up, bro. Go get them.
Go after him, boy.
So I got another one. Actually, where's it at, my boy Ruben?
Can I add something real quick?
Yes.
Jake, he's freaking awesome. I think I showed a couple of his videos already that he's made. He's helped explain some things that, even though I've been studying this for a while, I didn't understand until he explained it. So he's on fire. He's awesome.
What's up? That's what's
super glad you're here.
Thank you for that.
Nice to have you. That reminds me of something too, because actually I just called out for other Wisedome members and perspectives for my boy Ruben. So Ruben's got Discover Bank coming against him. He wanted to do an answer, of course, and then a counterclaim. I ain't done one of these. I don't dive too much into the aspects of credit side or going against the bank. We really had nobody even really present us or ask us this. So before me diving into this realm, I've already developed something, of course. We've got a skeleton really laid out. But what I'm wanting to do is actually get more of a deeper perspective too from other people, because I ain't really looked too much at Brandon Joe Williams's documents, other than I've read some things and seen maybe what he's got going on. But my approach, like, again, necessarily wouldn't be the same as his approach. That's just because I think I would use more of the aspects of like operating circular 7 and maybe operating circular 10 and those regulations. My baby girl's pissed. Something's going on. She's pissed. She is coming for me right now. Yes, ma'am. Come here. Come here, baby. Yeah, baby. You just hold me. 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 Okay. All right. So, anyways, like I'm saying is, it would be nice to see what you filed. You know, what approach you're going with. I think as far as Jake is concerned, and maybe even you could give me a perspective on helping other, like Ruben, in his approach. And I think I already got like Kevin that's possibly going to look at it. I think Troy said he's going to be looking at it as well. Hey, do you want to talk? You got this?
Yeah, we had, last week I actually had somebody that consulted with me was going up against Discover Card, and the first thing I recommended to her was like, hey, the new shit I'm on right now is bonds. Why don't we file a bond into the record? Lawyer didn't even show up. The judge could have issued a continuance, did not issue the continuance, immediately shut down her argument and said, I'm just going to go ahead and award you a $0 judgment. Get out of here. And that was after filing a $13,000 bond on the record, and they were coming after her for like 11.5. The lawyer didn't show up.
Yeah, let's go.
$0 judgment. So it's I think there might be something there too. But yeah, I'll post the complaint here in the chat here in just a moment for my
what
car.
What are you in the Discord?
I don't think I'm in the Discord yet. I didn't know about
tripping,
that.
Bro.
I could hop in there.
Yeah, Discord's popping, my guy. What? Yeah, Discord's popping. All right, Russell, you up, buddy?
I'm up.
You up, buddy?
I read these documents this morning, and looks like just a few changes, Cam. Everything looks pretty good on all this stuff. You can't hear me, can't you?
Yeah, I can hear you. In the chat right there is the Discord invite link right there, so you should be able to see it. Yeah, Russell. So what we got going on, Russell? Russell, he's ready to move forward. He done got a response. What's been going on? You want to give us some updates? What's going on this week?
I'll just talk to Cam this week about filing this affidavit of fact. The Comal County District Attorney, they hadn't even filed a case yet. It's just sitting in limbo. So I'm going to file this this affidavit. I guess I'll send it off Tuesday, and then we're trying to get. Whenever I was in the jail there, the jailer threatened me with violence to get my fingerprints and my photograph. And we sent Freedom of Information Act to get that body cam, and they referred it to the AG, and Cam helped us get these documents fixed up so we can send it to them and rebut it.
Yeah. So what's going on is the attorney general or the district attorney, we already reaching out. So they already trying to send over to the attorney general to kind of validate that they're withholding information. But again, a lot of this information can't be withheld if it's not going to directly interfere with any investigations. But the fact that they use criminal investigations is another just hiccup and thing, we pick at them pretty hard. So we're using the law against themselves. Like, they're supposed to abide by that. It's not what we're supposed to abide by, it's what they're supposed to abide by. And then we're asking for so much material evidence as far as what we want, whether it's policy manuals and all that. If they do a blanket denial, right, that causes an issue because not everything needs to be blanket under that blanket of denial in and of itself. So when they're just saying, oh, we're denying everything, it's like, but you're not listening. There are things that you can provide to me right off the bat that don't even involve necessarily or hinder your investigation of supposed crime, when there ain't even no verified complaint, there ain't no sworn affidavit. So we attack really hard on these legal notices through an email aspect, which is administrative. And just for a second, because I got to run upstairs and then I'll come right back, but tell them your initial thought, Russell, of what you wanted to do and maybe how I've transitioned you into maybe a different line of thought.
Well, like I say, I'm all new at this, folks, and my way of thinking in my brain was to send them a bill, just send them a bill and then challenge the bill. But I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do is just file that federal lawsuit and and then talking to Cam, we're just gonna start talking to the city and seeing if we can come to some sort of agreement. I'm gonna serve them a bit. I'm not gonna serve them a bill. Sorry about that. I'm gonna file that federal lawsuit next week. I think that's the plan. I'm just gonna go out there. I'm gonna file it for $14 million. I mean, hell, if you don't ask for it, you ain't gonna get it, right? So I'm gonna sue them for $14 million for 28 hours in the jailhouse, and then work with Cam on talking to the city and seeing what we can do to maybe we can get them to want to make a deal. I don't know. Like I say, I'm all new at this, folks. So we're just gonna have to see what goes. I mean, I know they're wrong. It was an illegal arrest, false imprisonment, kidnapping. I mean, we know they're wrong, but I just don't know what they're going to want to settle for. Do you guys have any
Well, wait.
idea what?
But before just going on to settling aspects, let's just really speak on, again, the process. So we're trying to get the education just built out here on some of the things that we need to expect when we get in these types of situations. So the situation at hand, you get arrested, you get pulled over, you get a ticket, right? You know that we're having violations of our creator endowed rights now, because we know most of this is literally a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Especially when they start saying, get out the car. We just had Sydney get her window broken, no crime being committed. We know that we're getting arrested for non-arrestable offenses when we're not even in contract. So I get what's going on if you're out there and you're engaged in a contract and you violate that contract, right? I get that. You're out there driving on a suspended license. Maybe you should end that contract. You dig what I'm saying? Like, we've put ourselves in aspects of being under them due to our consent, the contract. But if you're completely out and the presumption is still out there, the assumption by the cops, you reserve your rights, you've ended that presumption. We're protecting ourselves there. That's that layer. That is enough in and of itself. So then we get outside of the situation, we get the tickets, we get arrested, we get out. What are we going to do in relation to getting remedy, right? Most are going to be like, oh, I'm going to file just a report into the system, into their system, which limits you, by the way, to, like, let's say 500 characters, 250 characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you going to bring any kind of notice to anybody with 250 characters or 500 characters in a little section to make your voice be known, right? So what we do is, of course, we file those, but within the notes, or the section that we get, we're getting really precise to the violations, like listing just out the violations that have occurred. In most situations, like let's say you get arrested and taken to jail and your car's towed and you've literally done nothing. Well, for me, it's 28 violations, federal, state, and policy, and ADA. It's 28 violations that occurred to me when I have done nothing whatsoever, okay? Against their one now that they're claiming against me. And I ain't even a resident of the state. I ain't got no contract with the state. Okay. Okay, so then what we're doing is we're getting very active in the aspect of bringing people on notice. Is notice not one of the biggest things? Yes or no?
Yeah, you got to put them on notice
Why you got to put them on notice?
so they know what's going on. And you got to rebut the assumptions and presumptions.
So you got to rebut that shit. Let's see. So what I'm going to do, I don't know if this is going to work like this, but
Yeah, and free men, they work with affidavits and what's the other one? Affidavits and that's what we work with.
okay.
Affidavits and writs.
So what I want to bring your attention to is the aspect of, I guess I'll just do it on visual. The doctrine, okay? Well, where is it? One under what? Notice of liability. This is our affidavits we be sending out. And you know what? Let's just go through this real quick. So this is the affidavits that we're actually doing. A lot of people are putting out and on the record, because again, we're rebutting everything. Okay, so we're not coming in to necessarily file a motion. We don't want to have motions being done. Motions under a statutory framework. Statutory frameworks under a request, because it's like, oh, I'm up under you and I'm succumbing to you as the Almighty, right? If we want to get over into the constitutional framework, I keep doing this when I share and then take off share sound. Boom, boom, boom. That's how it should be. Yep, there y'all are. Then I can see y'all. If I don't do it, I can't see y'all all. Okay, like that. Now, I was full screen though, huh? Okay. Now, these affidavits are very, very important because we're butting everything right off the bat. And everybody's like wanting to put these in right off the bat right now more than anything, because they're not wanting to put themselves into jurisdiction. They're wanting to challenge very hard. So, is this going away or stand? Okay, so we have a notice of special appearance. You can say affidavit of fact up top. Usually case reference is going to be the number, but it can just be the counties, whatever. Then we got pursuant, and everything is always directly to the state. Like whatever we need to pull in that's going to back us up as far as our foundation is concerned in relation to our standing, we're utilizing their own law against them. It's like, yo, y'all told me that these are my protections, so why you mad now that I'm calling them out? Like, why you mad because I'm bringing forth my protections that you put in your rule book that you got to abide by? What's that got to do with me? Abide by your shit. It ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, that's how I'm going to think about it. So notice of special appearance and jurisdictional challenge. This affidavit constitutes a special appearance, not general, for the limited purpose of challenging jurisdiction in personam, in rem, and in subject matter. In establishing the record of constitutional rights violations pursuant to the principles articulated in Ex parte Young, 1908, and Hale versus Hingle in 1906, all rights are reserved nunc pro tunc now for then, and this affidavit is submitted with explicit reservation of all rights pursuant to Kansas statutes 84-1308. Which is the statute that is codified for UCC 1-308. Hello. And the doctrine of sine qua non, without which not. The affirmation of capacity and standing. I, me, you, Cameron, Russell, everybody else here, a natural person, woman, man, not person, man or woman, a living soul, being of sound mind and competent to testify first-hand knowledge of the facts herein, and being over the age of majority, do hereby solemnly affirm, declare, and state that the following pursuant to the penalties of perjury under the laws of the lowercase United States and the state of Kansas. That number one, okay, now we're putting it out there, that I am of lawful age and competent to testify to the facts set forth herein, pursuant to the standards established in the Kansas statutes, section 60-407, which is the general rule of competency. What's the general rule of competency? I want to know a little bit more about that if you don't mind. General rule of competency, please. The general rule of competency in legal context, particularly regarding witness testimony. Witness testimony. Who is a witness when we're dealing with these cops? Who's the witness?
It's going to be the cop, isn't it?
Nope. Who's the witness? What's he with? Where's the witness?
state.
There isn't one.
There isn't.
There's no witness.
There isn't one. Dude works for the state, y'all. Nobody witnessed a crime. He didn't witness anything. He cannot be a witness. He works for the state. Presumption of competency. All individuals are initially presumed to be competent to testify. This is the age, exemptions to competency, inability to express oneself. This is why they try to pull that bullshit, right, on psych eval. But if you're already coming through and say, oh, yo, man, I'm competent. I'm throwing out the rule out there. I don't need y'all trying to put no psych eval bullshit upon me like they trying to do with Anthony right now. Hey, just bring it forth. Let it be known, okay? It's all about invoking what you know and want. I'm going to show y'all also the foundation, how to set the foundation. 2, that I'm not a legal person, corporate fiction, artificial entity, surety, or statutory creation, but a private living man or woman, one of the people possessing inherent unalienable rights, endowed by the Creator, as recognized in the Declaration of Independence, and affirmed by principle articulated in Hale versus Hinkle, 1906, wherein courts distinguish between natural persons and corporations, noting that, quote, individuals or the individual may stand upon his constitutional right as a citizen, unquote. See also Shuttlesworth versus Birmingham. Jura natura sunt immutabilia. The laws of nature are unchangeable. Unchangeable. They always exist, always have been, and always will be. And just because man wants to bring forth this law doesn't mean you're going to enforce it when one knows. That I'm not a belligerent. I am not a combatant. I'm not an enemy of the state, and I am not trading with the enemy of the state. I exist peaceably within the geographical imaginary boundaries commonly known as Kansas. That my capacity and standing to bring forth this affidavit is established under the principle of articulated in Lujan versus Defenders of Wildlife, as I have suffered A, or 1, concrete and particularized injury, that is B, fairly traceable to the challenged action here that I'm speaking for today, and C, likely to be dressed by a favorable decision. Yes, you and I both will have a favorable decision due to the fact that, again, constitutional creator endowed rights are violated, like supersede everything else. So of course it's going to come back to us. Maybe not on these lower realms, because these lower realms suck, bro. We already know that. But again, when you take it to the higher, you know what they about, man. You know, they clarifying and telling these people, yo, do your job. It's not hard to do that. See also Spokio Inc. versus Robbins, requiring a concrete injury, even in the context of a statutory violation. Wait a minute, huh? One more time. See also Spokio Inc. versus Robbins, 2016, requiring, quote, concrete injury, even in the context of a statutory violation, unquote. Where's the injury? Who's receiving the injury? Looks like me and you. Irreparable harm to our life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Discussing also, this came also, you can get we can get some more out of Bear versus Peck. And again, you see when we're bringing forth these claims, we're actually bringing in case law that specifically backs it in whatever region you're in. Okay. So discussing standing requirements in Kansas. So the statement of facts. This is where we go through our whole situation and we get pretty detailed, letting them know of the egregious violations. Right? I mean, with I don't see them in here, Sydney and Matthew, but let me see what. At one point, this is literally on their. I mean, if she was in here, we'd watch it. But at one point, this is what they literally said: "Get out of the vehicle. You're under arrest. Bust the fucking windows. I don't give a shit." Like they ain't even asked for her name yet. They ain't even asked for her name and they bust out the windows. Okay? So this is the problem, is we have to change these wrong actions, which are totally illegal, completely illegal. So we challenge to the corpus delicti and lack of verified complaint. Everything up here was just, again, the material facts of the situation, laying it out. Then the challenge to the corpus delicti and lack of verified complainant. The state bears the burden of proving the corpus delicti, not you and me. Throw the burden back on them. They bear the burden of proving the corpus delicti, not you. The body of the crime, independent of any alleged admission by the accused. Independent of any alleged admission by the accused. Well, who is the accused? It would be the cop, right? So what else you got beyond this hearsay report? What else you got? This requires proof that a crime of the type charged was committed, and B, the crime was committed through the criminal agency of another. 26, that for the alleged traffic violations, the state must present independent evidence establishing each element of these offenses occurred. Each element, 4 legs, right? You need 4 legs, right? We're going to get other aspects too. Mere observation of a tag or status of a license absent proof of a criminal intent, scienter, where required by statute, fails to establish the corpus delicti. 27, that there is no identifiable. Now this is our affidavit, y'all. Okay, there is 27. There is no identifiable injured party or verified complainant in this matter. The citations were initiated solely by officer blase blase acting under color of law. Again, putting them on notice that we know that it's under color of law. Okay. Traffic infractions, particularly those related to administrative regulations like licensing and registration, do not inherently involve a victim or damaged party in the traditional sense required to establish a common law crime. 28. That the state cannot rely solely on statements allegedly made by me during the unlawful detention, nor on the unverified assertions of these officers to meet its burden of proving the corpus delicti. Then we get into notice of liability and commercial obligation. Do you see now, instead of filing so many different things like a notice of abatement with a memorandum, if we're bringing in some kind of notice, a notice to dismiss on their ass type vibes, no, we're bringing it all here right now, okay, in power. Not several documents, in power, in one. That this is my first attempt in abatement. Uh-oh. Putting them on notice and settlement regarding this matter. I am offering full disclosure and lawful opportunity to rebut all of my claims, my facts, and terms pursuant to the notice requirements established. What? According and pursuant to what? The notice requirements? Notice requirements, you say? Mullane versus Central Hanover Bank and Trust Company in 1950, establishing that notice must be reasonably calculated under all circumstances to apprise interested parties of dependency of the action and to afford them an opportunity to present their objections, unquote, right? Even you're supposed to be afforded this opportunity, right? It's called due process, my nigga. Like, you have to have due process. That is afforded to you. It is well established, concrete, foundational, that one must be given notice, therefore, to have an opportunity to cure that notice. If that's not occurring, that's a violation. You can't bring a charge against me when I have violations over here on the bigger side that supersede everything that you're bringing forth on your statutory side. If you mess up one time over here, everything over here is null and void. You don't get to violate my rights to bring about your statutory. That's not how this works. And Fuentes versus Shevin, 1972, discussing the right to notice an opportunity to be heard. This notice satisfied, this notice here, your affidavit, satisfies the requirements of whatever yours is in your state. In Kansas, it's KSA section 12-105B, regarding notices of claim against public entities, and establishes a record of attempted, read this, attempted a record in good faith of attempted administrative remedy, you hear me, Russ, as required before seeking judicial relief under the what? Doctrine of exhaustion and administrative remedies. Let's read this up. What does this mean? What does this mean? The doctrine of exhaustion of administrative remedies is a legal principle requiring individuals to pursue all available remedies within an administrative agency before seeking judicial review of the agency's decision in court. Okay? We can't just go out there and throw a bill and hope it sticks. We got to go through the process. But we can go through the process in standing in the most hardcore stance ever. I'm telling you that right now. And we do that by utilizing all of those violations that they have to abide by. There's so many elements that they forget, that they've slacked on, that we haven't been bringing forth, that they've been able to just win. And that's due to lack of education. And it's over right now. No more. And this is articulated in McCart versus United States in 1969, as well as Zarda versus State in the Kansas Division in 1992. 2, that this affidavit also constitutes a lawful presentment under UCC's 3-501, codified in Kansas in that section, and establishes a perfected claim under UCC 1-2013, codified in Kansas as well, where respondent's failure to rebut within the allotted time frame shall result in a binding obligation and self-executing judgment enforceable in law and equity. Failure to rebut this affidavit and notice of liability within 30 calendar days from receipt constitutes tacit acquiescence to the terms, amounts, jurisdiction, and enforcement procedures therein, subject to the limitations recognized in those cases there. While silence does not generally constitute acceptance under contract law, as noted in Restatement Second of Contracts, Section 69, and Steele versus Harrison in Kansas Division, failure, or we'd find one in your division that would be similar, failure to respond to formal administrative notices may have legal consequences in certain contexts, particularly where there exists a pre-existing duty to speak. Guess what? They have a duty to speak. They have a duty to respond. So yes, it does count. No course of because why? They're servants. We fund them. Okay? We created them. It's part of it. No course of dealing or usage of trade shall modify these terms. Number 3, that I hereby give notice under the laws of equity and contracts that all future attempts to impose jurisdiction, claim agency, or assume control over my natural person without verified authority shall be deemed as commercial trespass and fraud, actionable under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, not limited to, as interpreted in Monroe versus Pape, 1961, and under Kansas law pursuant to Connolly versus Kansas Highway Patrol in 2001, discussing Kansas's waiver of sovereign immunity for certain claims. Such actions may further constitute an unconstitutional taking requiring just compensation under Loretto versus Teleprompter, 1982, holding that physical appropriation of property requires compensation. Go get them. You're holding my shit. I got to get paid for you holding my shit. You shouldn't have been holding it. It's all legal. Discussing takings under Kansas law there through Garrett versus City of Topeka. Reservation of rights. So yes, within our affidavit, we're also hitting for a section on that reservation too. Again, what I tell you, we're setting the foundation from the gate. From jump. Like, y'all want to fuck with me? We're going to set the foundation to where you can't run over me at all. Comes now, affiant. I'm not a defendant. I'm an affiant. To declare and affirm the reservation of all rights without prejudice, pursuant to the KSA 84-1-308. Again, reserving all rights and related principles of law. This reservation includes, but is not limited to, 1, the right to amend this affidavit at any time. I can change it at any time. Just because I filed don't mean I can't amend it. The right to challenge any presumptions of law or fact that may be asserted against of me. The right to demand verification of any claims, the right to present evidence and testimony in any proceeding, the right to confront and cross-examine, the right to appeal, the right to seek redress for any violations, the right to proceed in propria persona, the right to remain silent, the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, beyond a reasonable doubt, the right to challenge the constitutionality of any statute, the right to petition for redress of grievances, the right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures, the right to due process of law before any deprivation of life, liberty, and or property, the right to equal protection, the right to give me that. 16. The right to self-governing. Yeah, give me that. Get that right. We self-governing around here, bro. The right to a self-governing Republican form of government as guaranteed. The right to exercise all other rights retained by the people under the 9th Amendment. Wherefore, prayer for relief. Wherefore, we always include our wherefores. I don't know how that happened to me, where I just somehow would never include prayer for relief. But yeah, wherefore, immediate dismissal with prejudice of all the charges. So instead of making a request or a motion for a dismissal, we're saying we respectfully petition. We're petitioning you to go ahead and do this through our affidavit for immediate dismissal with prejudice of all the charges and citations. 2, a declaratory judgment that the arrest and detention were ultra-vires, unconstitutional, and in patent violation of my sacred liberties. 3, forthwith return every item of property seized. She even wants her cash back instead of this dumbass reloadable Visa card without her consent. Expungement of permanent sealing of every associated record. Compensation for the full measure of damages sustained. Costs for the vehicle window repair, bail costs, such additional sums for lost times, emotional distress, and related harms as may be established at an evidentiary hearing. Such other and further relief, whether legal, equitable, and declaratory as the court deems just and proper in light of natural law, common law, maxims, and constitutional guarantees. And then order, included in it, is order that the office of the district attorney or any adverse party shall file a verified point-by-point rebuttal to each factual averment and legal contention herein within 10 calendar days of service or within such shorter period as the applicable local rules of the Butler County District Court prescribe. Absent a timely sworn response, the unrebutted statements herein shall stand as confessed, and administrative estoppel res judica shall attach. And 8, written determination by this court, supported by separate findings of facts and conclusions of law explicitly addressing 1, subject matter jurisdiction, 2, personam jurisdiction, 3, territorial jurisdiction, as challenged in this affidavit. Said determination to be entered on the record and furnished to the parties in accordance with Kansas Supreme Court Rule 133, Service of Court Orders. Verification, right? Her verification, and then our notary, and then one last thing to hit them with, which is judicial notice. Instead of calling for judicial notice on the record orally, why not just bring that through again? And this is where we lay the foundation. I want somebody else to read this. Can somebody else? Well, I guess no, I'll go through it, but I want to actually kind of talk a little bit about this, or maybe some people give some inputs on why they think this might be important. Why is this?
This is fucking awesome, man. This is so good. I've gone into court and I've beat cases on with a lot less paperwork than this. And if we can't go in with this and beat these cases, this is because we don't believe it. And it's all so good. It's all easily believable. I mean, this is so good, Cam.
It's laid out really nice to where it's all together in one. But on the judicial notice aspect, why is judicial notice so important?
Because these are nisi prius courts, and essentially, if you don't put them on judicial notice, they start fucking around and losing stuff and taking it off the record. Judicial notice is so they will hear you. I think one of the things I read about a year or so ago, it says when you invoke judicial notice, it's like they'll say they can't hear the dead, but it's like they have to hear you.
Yeah. Another way of putting it too, and that's perfectly said. You actually said it really good. Another way of putting it too is like,
If I may, judicial notice locks the court in. There's no wiggle room. If they take judicial notice of those cases, they're locked in. There's no wiggle room out.
Jim, thank you. That is like perfect. I guess it's like if we had like a blank board, like a game board, it's like we're going into the court and the court has like this blank playing board. And you have all these pieces and they're random pieces actually from all kinds of different games. So what you end up having to do is you end up having to make the rules. And the way to make the rules for the game board, the court, is to bring in judicial notice and set those rules. Am I kind of saying it right, Jim? You think that's kind of another way of kind of looking at it?
It is. I mean, if the rules are in place, nobody can get around them. And judicial,
Exactly.
the court is basically saying, yeah, we're locked into this and we're going to run with it. And
Yeah.
you guys have to play within those confines.
Yep, exactly. It's kind of like also, what is it? The rule of lenity, right? So if we have, like right now, I have someone. Oh my God, where's she at? She's down in Florida, and initially they tried to hit her with fraud for her plates, right? Her own private property, her own placard, her own notice. What's fascinating about that is she really does have a dot. You know, she has the DOT numbers for the private carrier. So anyways, by them charging fraud is really, really, really bad because it's like, again, you have to willingly and knowingly, the definition or the legislature, the term or the statute itself of the quasi-criminal charge literally states willingly and knowingly. And that's what they select. Well, if you, like putting on something falsified or that you shouldn't be. Well, if you already know that you can do that, then you didn't willingly and knowingly commit fraud. So when we invoke the rule of lenity, we put them in those bounds, like Jim just said, that they cannot get out of. Like literally, when you invoke that and start speaking on it and how they go outside of it, it's over with. It can't be applied. And those, I think I would bring forth more in relation to like a notice and demand as unconstitutionally applied, because we're getting into the constitutional framework rather than statutory framework as far as body of law and how the court is going to operate rather than an 8.3, right? Statutory framework. But yeah, that's how I do it. All right, but judicial notice, look at what we're bringing forth. So pursuant to Kansas Statute Section 60-409 and Federal Rules of Evidence 201, this court is respectfully requested to take judicial notice of the following. We wouldn't even have to do requested if we didn't want to. You could keep it light like that, but if you want to change up your own and say we respectfully demand or command, right? The court to take, right? So the Constitution for the United States of America, including but not limited to the Bill of Rights, is the supreme law of the land. Established. Ground level. We got that on record. So there's no getting around that. The Constitution of the State of Kansas, including but not limited to the Kansas Bill of Rights, secures and protects the fundamental rights of the people. Boom. Okay? The right to travel is a fundamental right recognized by the Supreme Court of the United States in numerous decisions, including Shapiro versus Thompson and Sands versus Roe. Established. Grounded. We're not going to have an argument or debate about that. Okay? The distinction between the right to travel and the privilege of driving in commerce has been recognized in American jurisprudence, as noted in Thompson versus Smith and Chicago Motor Coach versus Chicago. Grounded. There's nothing, they can't get around it. The Fourth Amendment of the Constitution for the United States of America and Section 15 of the Kansas Bill of Rights protect against unreasonable searches and seizures. So when they say, I need you to step out of your vehicle, why do you think I always say, I'm not stepping out of my vehicle? Why? Because I know the rules. You need to have something dangerous to ask me about this car. I have to be posing some kind of safety risk to you. Period. That's how this goes. And you know what? Quick segue. John, civil, down, where's my marker? I know I got one somewhere. Yes, ma'am?
And
Oh, you got your drink.
if I may,
Go ahead. I got
stepping out of your your automobile makes you insecure in your person. And your property.
It also is unsafe for you and the officer.
For sure. Like you can go on YouTube and watch how the cops and the pedestrian almost get smashed to death.
So I wanted to show y'all this this memorandum opinion and order that came from a judge earlier this year in March 25th to be exact. We all know John, the civil rights attorney, the civil rights lawyer on YouTube. Shout out my boy, doing good work out there. Okay, they got this response back on 3/25/25. Okay, and this is an order and memorandum and opinion from the judge itself on a situation as far as a traffic stop is concerned. And what I want to do is I like to run people through this just so they know what's going on and they get a better aspect. I don't think I've publicly bring this out to YouTube yet. So in this order that was wrote in this situation on a federal lawsuit, plaintiff contends, us, me and you, us, we contend, right? This is our situation, that the cops stated they initiated the stop because we had on a private plate. There does not appear to be a law in West Virginia that criminalizes such behavior. There isn't. There can never be a law, okay, period, that criminalizes you using your own private notice to the world. That is not how this works. You're literally free. The roads are open as a matter of right for public vehicular travel. Almost every single person's state, I found both the municipal and the county definition for county road or street or road in and of itself. Just go look up the definition both in your municipal code and your county code, and it literally states every street, highway, byway, alley, roadway, all of it open as a matter of right for public vehicular travel. Go ahead, James.
Yeah. So when you say that there's no law for that, isn't that where they nail you with fraud though? Is that what that's what they've been doing, right? That's what they did to Luis, and that's what they tried to do with Sarah and a bunch of others.
I think only just right now it's been with Luis, and the only other one that I had that was a fraud was Heather recently, but she had hers immediately dropped, and they put it under another statute and definition, which is even worse. So it doesn't even match whatsoever, because it's like you're falsifying, whether it's like a fake trip permit or like a registration sticker, or you're like using a plate that is from another car on your car. Like, see, when you get into the legalese and the language, it's very clear to, or it's very easy actually to pick it apart. It's really not hard. Because again, all those words have definitions that are completely different than what we commonly use. And if you're comprehending and knowing that all crimes are commercial and mostly everything is civil and is a contract, you really start putting, you see it for what it is, and you never succumb to that. It's the point and moment in which you succumb to the definitions having bearing over you that you lose. That's why I try to tell you, it's all a mind state. Your mind state is what allows them to win or not win.
Right.
That's all it boils down to, bro. You're the highest already. So what you succumbing to? It's so weird, but that's how it works. Taking the facts as the court must, in light most favorable to you and I, which is the plaintiff bringing forth the claim, these deputies, the cops, allegedly initiated the stop without reasonable suspicion of some sort of crime, true harm, possible harm, opposed safety risk to the public, notification, or my expression of my free rights, my First Amendment, my freedom of speech in relation to my private property and conveyance, okay, cannot be criminal. You can't make that a crime. You can't pull me over because I have a private placard on. You can't go thinking that I'm a criminal because I'm not allowing you to see my VIN number. Like, that's not how this works. Such a stop would violate the Fourth Amendment. Yes, it would. Thanks, Judge. Again, this just came out, 3/25. Unconstitutionally extending a stop by even a de minimis amount of time violates the Fourth Amendment. Yes, it does. That means when they're getting into their investigatory type aspect and they're starting to ask all these questions, unnecessary questions, and they're, you know, trying to just prolong the stop, just even a de minimis amount of time violates the Fourth Amendment. By failing to hand over citations and them prolonging the encounter, cops arguably make the stop longer than necessary to effectuate the purpose of the stop in the first place. While it is true that an officer may order a suspect out of the car during a valid Terry stop involved in some sort of harm or possible risk or injury to another member of the public, such order is only valid if an officer, quote, possesses an articulable and objectively reasonable belief that the suspect is potentially dangerous, unquote. Long 463 U.S. at 1051. They can't ask you out of your car without an articulable reason that you are dangerous in some sort of fashion. Period. Period. I don't know what we don't get about that. So anybody who's saying that, oh, I'm just going to give up because they were making threats, here is your ticket. Do you want to win the lottery? I don't know what else to tell you. This order just came out 3/25/25. What do you want me to tell you? Defendants cite nothing, the cops, the city, Manel claim, cite nothing to suggest that between initiating the traffic stop and plaintiff laughing, plaintiff educating, plaintiff standing on his constitutional rights, plaintiff asking if they had a warrant. Oh, I'm glad Ocasio came in here. We're going to go to Ocasio next. This is good. This is cool. I'm glad Ocasio came in here. Ocasio, I know you can hear me now. I'm glad you came in here because we're about to go over yours next, bro. Between initiating the traffic stop and plaintiff's education, plaintiff's invocation of his constitutionally creator-endowed rights, did the cops, Ellison, notice anything that would suggest the encounter became dangerous to them? Without such justification, the act of ordering the plaintiff out of the car is arguably unjustified. Give it to me. That's called a win, my friend. A W. A dub. Again, there's nothing to suggest that at this time that those deputies became aware of an evolving threat to his safety. Thus, even assuming this was a frisk of plaintiff, it was arguably unjustified based on the facts alleged. Get him out of here, coach. Let's just do it like this. Watch this. I'm going to switch it up and show you something just different. It'll play the same, though. We can play it the same. I promise you. Given that the plaintiff contends that Deputy Ellison knew and understood the message he was attempting to send, he was flashing his lights. Our plate is attempting to send the aspect that we are private and we don't want to be interfered with, that we're not operating on the roads that we own in a commercial capacity, right? The court finds no reason to conclude that flashing or having a notice placard on their car would not constitute protected fucking speech. Get it out of here. You having a notice placard on your car is protected speech. Just like if I was to get out here and flash my lights to somebody else. I'm putting them on notice, bro, that I'm using the roads in my God-given, creator-endowed right. Full way. Initiating a stop because of protected speech and without probable cause of a crime would certainly deter a person from engaging in that protected speech, wouldn't it? If you're going to attack me because I'm out here privately traveling, I am then, I mean, you're it's almost like you're forcing me to get a license just to be free. At that point, which is, again, another violation. Do you see how the layers of deeper comprehension and knowing play out? You're forcing me. I can't just be free and speak and be like, yeah, I'm an asshole on my own placard on the back of my car. I can't just put asshole driver. I can't just be whatever, the Hester. You know what I'm saying? I can't just be Tyler Azultine, you know, on my plate. Like, I have to be, you're telling me that you're going to force me to get a plate, and if I don't, then you're going to arrest me. That's involuntary servitude, is it not? Yes or no?
Yes.
So again, this was filed, and yeah, thank Thomas E. Johnson, because he gave us this one. Okay? Yeah, buddy. Let's finish off this affidavit, and then we'll get into Ocasio. Now, the Fourth Amendment, yeah, the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution in Section 10 of the Kansas Bill, the right to protect against self-incrimination and deprivation of life, liberty, and or property without due process of law. Self-incrimination means I ain't got to speak until you got a warrant for my arrest, bruh. And even then, I can reserve all rights and not speak. Like, I ain't got to identify unless you got a crime. You got a warrant out for my arrest? And what we talking about? Leave me alone. Remember, you can move with impunity. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution. I know this is a double-edged sword, but you know, it is what it is. The principles of corpus delicti require independent proof of the body of the crime. Okay, all right. You don't want to work? Just get out of here then. I'm not using you.
If I may,
Yeah, go ahead.
the license plate in itself is a waiver of the Fourth Amendment.
License plate. Yeah, a license plate. Yeah. But ours ain't a license plate, it's a placard. Notice placard.
Right. I'm talking about the state plate in itself
plate.
is a waiver of the Fourth Amendment.
Yep, straight up. You got to waive something to get a privilege, right?
Right.
Okay. 14th principles. Okay, so the principles of corpus delicti require independent proof of the body of the crime. Yep. The legal maxim actus non faciet reum nisi minsit rea. Actus reus mens reus. The act does not make a person guilty unless the mind is also guilty. Oh my. Establishes that criminal liability generally requires both prohibited act and a culpable mental state. So this one has always been fascinating and deep to me, because we all know that we have the right to freedom and belief, right? Like, I mean, religion and belief and faith. So if my faith and belief is that I am truly engaged in a free action that I know that I have by the laws of nature, that I know that I have by what's already been established long before this Declaration of Independence came through, right? Through ancestral knowing, documents, depictions, pictographs. If this is already known, and I believe that, then I can never fall under a crime. Because I never have a guilty mind of doing an act that would harm or be criminal in nature. The elements of actus rea and mens rea must come together to make the body of a crime. If one lacks, everything else fails. Without the sun, there is no, like, without the moon, there is no light without darkness, man.
If I may, this is why the judicial notice is important, and you rely on Supreme Court cases, because U.S. versus Bishop states that if you rely on the Supreme Court, then your intent is gone, because you relied on their statements, and there's no intent, which weighs, and that means that the prosecution has stated a claim for which relief can't be granted because you have no intent. That's why that's so important.
Jim, don't stop talking. Keep going.
Well, that's the point. I mean, that's why when they rely on U.S. Supreme Court cases, and you relied on those cases, then U.S. versus Bishop states that takes away your intent because you relied on the Supreme Court. And then that wipes out your mens rea and all the other stuff, because there's no criminal state of mind in that case, and it's all gone and they can't prove you've got it. And therefore there's no claim that the George can grant relief, the court can grant relief on. That's the key.
All right. That is a good key. I'm glad you said that, because that was one thing that I think was really important in relation to the statute that was being applied as far as fraud is concerned against Luis, is that they could never prove the intent on why he was using that plate, right? So fraud could never actually be applicable or applied, because nobody was there with him when he made the plate. Nobody has any interview or statements from him on his intent on why he had his notice plate placard on his car, right? So it's like you'll never be able to prove it because the intent is not there, which was actually wrote and woven into the statute itself. And again, intentionally, willingly, and knowingly are three very important words, like in relation to the one base word, I guess, if you want, which is intent. Very important. And again, a culpable mental state. The legal maxim, nemo tenetio se psum accusare, no one is bound to accuse himself, establishes the right, again, against self-incrimination. Self-incrimination. The legal maxim, I'm not reading this one. What is invalid from the beginning cannot be made valid by the passage of time. This one's very important due to the fact of jurisdiction in most of our situations, because they are all what? Can someone tell me? What are they? Their jurisdiction is what?
Void ab initio.
And what else?
Repugnant to the Constitution.
What else?
A usurpation of power?
I'm looking for something else. What is it? I mean, it is all those. There are quasi, yes, but what else?
Stupid.
Huh?
Strictly administrative in nature and not so.
They are ALJs, and they are nothing more than clerks and the highest clerk of the involved agency, but that's not what I'm looking for. What else?
Fruit of the poisonous tree?
No, their jurisdiction is what?
Commerce.
Law and bullshit.
No. Come on now.
Fraudulent?
It's that, yes, but why is it fraudulent? Because it's what? They have a what?
They have a contract.
They have a want of jurisdiction, y'all.
Yeah, they don't have
It's
it.
all that want. It's want. It's want. It's not true jurisdiction. It's just a want. They never prove it.
God knows I know that.
Establishes that actions taken without proper authority remain invalid, regardless of subsequent events. Even if you keep it going, it's still invalid. So you can keep it going all that you want, but when it gets to the point where I finally just take it up to the Supreme Court, what happens then? Who will be responsible for the waste of my time? The egregious violations of my life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness then? It's like we've set a trap at that point. The legal maxim, where there is a right, there is a remedy, establishes that the law must provide a remedy for the violation of a legal right. Wherefore, again, hereby demand that this court take judicial notice of the foregoing constitutional provisions, natural law, principles, statutory protections, and legal authorities which collectively establish that, breaking it down one more time, and then verification. So I feel like this affidavit that we finally got tailored out with judicial notice and everything is pretty tough. It's pretty strong. Y'all free to come up and make some comments real quick. I'm gonna shut up just for a second.
It's tight. That was a good one. I think we should head over and do more as it relates to how we talk through everything. Everything we talk through at length. I don't know that we've ever talked through the aspects of jurisdiction. I remember when what's his name was on saying, "Hey, jurisdiction, you ain't got it." The one that would let him bust in his window, the cat who had his wife there and the kids. I'm forgetting his name. He's probably here.
That's Robert.
Robert. So but Robert articulated, you don't have, what do you got for jurisdiction, Judge? You got the thing. He rattled off several things, and I forgot what they were, but it'd be nice to go over jurisdiction the way we went over other things, like in a certain detail, role play it out a little bit, because I don't know that we've done that yet. That's about it.
Well, I mean, the best way to play it out is like Ty.
Oh yeah.
Just do what Ty did. Never shut up on jurisdiction until they just dismiss it. Find another.
Well, right.
reason to
Maybe it
dismiss
was Ty that I'm thinking of because it was really good. And I mean, when I say, hey, prove the points of jurisdiction, I don't really have a whole ton of follow up to say, no, because they'll just say, well, we have it. You know, you were on the road. It's our state and the state is clear and you're in the state. And so that's the jurisdiction. And I remember I didn't have much of a rebuttal the first time I heard that. Other than to say those aren't the elements of jurisdiction, but I didn't have good words as to what was the elements of jurisdiction.
So
I mean,
Daniel, what
yeah,
are you going to say what are you going to say to the judge when the judge says, we've already established jurisdiction. I have jurisdiction.
You haven't established it to me, Your Honor. I don't see a body of a crime. I don't see a witness that I can cross-examine. This can't be my jurisdiction. I know what isn't my jurisdiction, but if it was you that was saying it, you had a bunch of keynotes, a bunch of good legal words that, like when we're doing the Eddie Craig script, added up to, no, I'm not getting out, and no, you can't have me.
Well, you can sit there and tell me all these things that you think about me not having jurisdiction, but I have jurisdiction.
Right. See, so now I'm stuck for good words.
Objection.
Dan, did you listen to my video or my audio?
I couldn't find the thing.
I sent you the link
Oh,
I sent you the link. My
Y'all
YouTube.
ready? Y'all ready? A distinction quote. Okay. A distinction must be here observed between excess of jurisdiction and the clear absence of all jurisdiction over the subject matter. Any authority exercised is a usurped authority, and for the exercise of such authority, when the want of jurisdiction is known to the judge, no excuse is permissible. Unquote. When I've let you know that I know that you have no jurisdiction and that I've given up no jurisdiction and you continue, guaranteed I got a remedy for that. And it comes from Bradley versus Fisher.
So Daniel, what I said to that question I just asked you, because the judge said that to me, I said, then prove it on the record. I said, and I mean, it's that simple.
Here we go again.
but prove what on the record?
The high courts have further decreed that want of jurisdiction makes all acts of judges, magistrates, U.S. marshals, sheriffs, local police, all void and not just voidable. Unquote. They're void from the onset. Ab initio, beginning. Not later, not when you want to bring it up. They're already void. It's just bring it up, let it be known.
If I may, the judge can't presume jurisdiction, and the prosecutor must prove it. Okay, and you can't prove it by statements because the prosecutor can't be a witness and the trier of the facts or the presenter of the facts at the same time. So you either have to have some kind of evidence that there's jurisdiction and it has to be provable, but statements by the prosecutor won't grant that. And you have to make that objection. And I'll post a note here in the comments really quick. But we get tied up on this a lot.
Now, Jim, let me ask you this. Would let's say proof would be something like a contract, like a driver's license, right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. But if they're not bringing forth any evidence other than just their bold ass hearsay statements, that's not sufficient, right?
You have to object. You say, hey, that's not evidence. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Hey, Cam.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
hey,
sir.
On the subject matter jurisdiction, I mean, not subject on personal jurisdiction, like you're saying on the driver's license. If you don't have a driver's license, what about the social security number? Will they bring that up? You got a social security number?
I mean, if they brought it up, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. What relevance does that have?
Well, I just didn't know. I mean, I was just.
No, I'm saying for them, if they did, not you. I'm saying if they brought it up, that's what I would say. Well, what relevance does that have? Am I required to have a social? Rather, I don't answer questions.
Yep.
That's the better
And-
thing to say.
Hey, in the subject matter jurisdiction, folks, I got some goat tickets that, matter of fact, me and Cam are going to talk about probably Monday. But they wrote 8 tickets for basically free ranging goats. And on the ticket, it just has the dog catcher. She put her first initial and her last name. A few days later, I went up to the JP court and got certified copies of everything filed into that case. And the only thing that was there was the tickets. And there's no sworn affidavit by the dog catcher. There's no, like in the Texas Constitution, Article 5, Section 12 says in a criminal case, in order for any court to have jurisdiction, you have to have an indictment or information brought forth by a county attorney or district attorney. And there's no sworn complaint, and there's no information brought forward by a county attorney or a district attorney to give that court jurisdiction. So it just blows my mind, the fraud that's going on in these courts, especially JP courts. And I think most folks don't even know what's going on. But I was really shocked when I went up there and got certified copies of everything in that case, and all there was the tickets. And like I say, the dog catcher didn't even sign under penalty and perjury or nothing. It's not even on the ticket. I know Cam, when he got his deal, when he got arrested the other day, it's on there, under penalty and perjury where the deputy signed it. But in this case, with the goat tickets, there's nothing. And I got a letter Friday, yesterday, saying I got to be at court on June the 11th. And so now they've included the United States Postal Service in on the fraud. So what's y'all's opinion? What's y'all's opinion on all of that?
Rebut that shit every single time.
Well,
It
that's
really
why
is
you
that
and I are
simple.
That's why you and I are talking Monday.
It really is that simple, bro. It's really rebut that shit and put all liability back on them. You rebut the presumptions.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not hard. People make it harder than what I think it really, really should be. You rebut it and put all liability back on them. They're bringing forth something. They've got to prove it against us. It's not me proving my innocence. It's you proving I'm guilty of whatever fucking thing you think I did. And if there's not another person harmed, then it's all null and void.
Yeah.
Everything is null and void out here. We are the only ones that are allowing these crimes and injustices and violations to happen against us. It's of our own doing. It's like we want to blame everybody else except ourselves. Bro, it's us. It's our own fault.
But I think the only way to shut them down, Cam, is we're going to have to take the money. That's the only way to get it slowed down on what they're doing to people. We're going to have to take their money. That might slow them down a little bit, but the traffic code, the traffic deal is making them so much money. I mean, it's just, I think Eddie Craig said the amount of money they collect just in Texas is astronomical. And that's why I went to jail, because they can't just say, get on out of here, go on down the road, because they're trying to make as much money as they can. And I think that's the only way we can win this deal, if we just keep, being calm, don't be belligerent, be nice, let them bust your window if that's what they want to do, and then let's take their money.
Straight up.
I think that's the only way to win it. But you got to be nice, folks. You can't be, Cam and I talked about it. You can't be belligerent. You're going to have to.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to show these people that we're the nice guys, and they're the ones that are psycho.
Yeah, they're the
not
us for sure. Yep. Okay, CO, come on up, bro. Unmute yourself.
Peace, God. Peace.
What's up, my G? This my homie, Ocasio, y'all, and he never shows his face. He's one of those weird guys that never shows who he is for some reason. He's like a ghost. I don't know what's up with him. It's kind of weird, but yeah, he never shows his face, but he does pop up, and we have good conversations, and we do good developments together. Maybe it's like a Wilson vibe. I'm not sure how that works, but as he's working, and we've been working together just on a couple situations that he has, not heavily, because we don't just be talking like everyday type vibes, but when we do talk and develop, This situation that he had come up, I thought was pretty interesting yesterday. Hey, where's that response? Where's it at?
I put in the Discord. I also shared it with your email.
Okay, let me check. Is this one? It's
The
the
overly joint. It should be the last one.
No, I'm talking about what she sent.
Oh, yeah, that's in your email. Or no, it's actually in the Google Drive, which was in the Discord.
Oh, I downloaded it last night.
Yeah.
Remember, because it was so big.
Right.
Okay, let me see. Downloads.
Yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess.
Which one was it?
It should say 51325 at the end.
Nah, because I compressed it.
There it is.
Where?
It's right
this
there.
one. Yeah.
Down. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Sil, you want to explain some of this? Give us some context. What's going down?
So they gave this to me during my third appearance.
What is it? What are we looking at?
It's a memorandum of law from the assistant district attorney.
Okay.
So
you're telling us that the assistant district attorney filed this into the record?
Correct. During my third appearance, they didn't mail it to me.
Okay, so 16 pages they responded back to you is what you're saying.
In the middle, during my appearance, not ahead of time. They did it about a good month after.
Now watch this.
A good month after they were supposed to. The deadline was given by the judge of April, and then yes, I did object, Rich, and I said it prejudices my defense. You know what I mean? Obviously the judge don't know what he doing because this is the third appearance and I still ain't got no answer to my motions. It's May and I sent motions in the middle of January. Okay.
Right.
So
now,
I sent motions.
let me ask the group, those who want to unmute, how many responses have we received from attorneys or assistant district attorneys from people that are responding to our our documents? Any?
None.
Sarah got one, I think, but pretty much none. That's what I'm saying. It's very odd that they responded, but we're gonna get there. This shit's pretty funny, bro. Okay.
Must be an arrogant one.
Man, this one's funny. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick. Go ahead.
The thing that was really almost like I was mind-boggling was they just made shit up. They just made shit up, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty brazen. Especially since once I get because they still haven't given me access to the body cam footage. Okay, all right, and when I foiled it, they said 120 business days to respond of whether. So I gave them the boilerplate language of it's constructive denial in 20 days. And I'll commence legal action thereafter. But it's just like, wow, like once the footage does come out, it'll be obvious that everything they're saying is just bold-faced lies. And everything from number 1 on down. They said failed to stop at a red traffic light. Never was that ever mentioned by anyone. Red traffic light was never mentioned in no ticket. So it's like, it's just over and over from 1 on down. It's just like, wow. So me and Cam linked up, thankfully, and it's just the outcome was just it's really going to be an embarrassment on the district attorney's office And if the judge doesn't act, it's going to be an embarrassment on the court. So I'm just like, wow. God, I told Cam, I said, God is telling me to shine a light on this prosecution in this court, because I can't imagine how many other people have just been railroaded,
Yep.
have just been railroaded by these actors.
Yeah.
Because that's what they are. They're just actors.
And it's all just due to ignorance. I mean, we'll look at one real quick before jumping into what we developed. I mean, there's probably going to be a couple more points you probably want to bring up in here. I know of number 9, so I want to bring that up. This one was kind of funny. So, to me, it's just there's so many contradictions within this, this memorandum. It's kind of crazy. But at the outset, she says, so defendant's motion to dismiss in jurisdictional grounds. This is the title and what she's addressing. At the outset.
Yes, Rich, they failed to rule on any objection I made. They failed to rule on any motion I made. They failed to rule.
Yeah, completely. Well, that's why we're addressing it on the new one, though. But it must be noted that the defendant's statements and submissions do not conform to the requirements for addressing criminal charges. What are you talking about requirements? He ain't an attorney. He's not an attorney. Provided by the criminal procedure law or any recognized common law remedies. Oh, really? Even under common law remedies? You sure? Instead, the framework and terminology are replete with legal sounding but meaningless verbiage commonly used to adherents to the so-called sovereign citizen movement. This sounds like an AI response to me. It sounds like a generic AI response to me is what it sounds like. Someone who is not well versed in law. That's what it sounds like. In brief, the defendant's challenges to the court's jurisdiction are said to be supported by unrelated federal regulations. Really? Really? So the federal rules that you're bound to abide by are unrelated? Okay. All right. Random legal cases. Random. They're random, huh? Or are they particularized and specialized to the exact thing in which she's speaking of? Okay, they're random. All right, whatever. As well as requirements for contracts. Well, yeah, you should know that if you've gone to school and got your law degree. And commercial transactions. Correct. Because everything is that way. Obligations under Uniform Commercial Code and proof of injury, harm, loss, or damage. All of which are irrelevant and meaningless in the context of a criminal proceeding. So you just said that injury, harm, loss, or damage is irrelevant and meaningless in the context of a criminal proceeding? Are you kidding me? Man, all of y'all are sparking up and shit. What? Come on, man. What?
They're getting ready.
Y'all don't all get to spark up, and I just sit here and talk. What? I want to cough for a little bit, bro. What?
I was just having the same feeling.
Hey, I'm not yet, but that's because we're not on the road. We're at a shipper picking up a load right now.
Everybody smoking.
I can't travel to the store right now because my truck got towed. They put a notice like for 72 hours, and they towed it that same day. So it's in there making money for me right now.
I had to go through a whole roll of paper to fill one joint.
I got something to say. They throw all this stuff out there, and the main reason I think they throw it out there is just to see if we're going to just let them say it and not contradict it.
Yeah.
If they say it and we don't say anything back, then it's true.
Where was another one that was really bad too? Okay, so
They were conflating venue and jurisdiction. I don't remember which number that was, but that was a good one that came out of the write-up, was that the ADA was just really like not reading the case law correctly. It actually went against her point.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's in here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it.
I'd hit them back with rules of ethics for these prosecutors.
That's
lying.
in there. That's in there.
Yeah,
there it is. There it is. Okay, check this out. Here's one, because I just wanted to see what kind of things we could get before I went deep. So as we were talking and we're doing development, I said I just want a quick response on the rebuttal of this one point real quick, nothing deep yet. And this is the actual point that was brought up by the DA. And she says, although the remaining statements in the defendant's submissions appear generally to contest the legality of the state's actions and the roles of the police officers, the courts, and the people, it is unclear which constitutional principles, laws, or legal precedents are claimed to apply in this case. What are you talking about? We've made it very clear. We can't be more clear. Nevertheless, whatever theory or distinctive phrase the defendant chooses to identify himself, whether in proprietary juris, one living man, or some other descriptive terminology to suggest he is outside the court's jurisdiction and not subject to the state's laws, it remains fundamental that all citizens are entitled to the rights, guarantees, and protections of both the federal and state constitutions, their laws, and procedural due process. In return, all citizens are subject to the court's jurisdiction and in their conduct can be regulated by the state and federal government without their consent. What kind of sense does that make? That's totally contradicting itself, right? So I get her to say, the DA's argument contains a fundamental contradiction. It claims that all citizens are entitled to constitutional rights and protections while simultaneously asserting that citizens can be regulated without consent. The position is logically and legally untenable. What don't you get about that? And this is the whole damn memorandum. It's just like this. It's like double speak in some weird ass way to have you into some lost psychological trance of, oh, you control me. It's the weirdest thing. What else you got? Okay, so.
And just like on a physical energy level, before I was walking up to the judge before they was gonna read in my case, I was looking at the ADA, look at the paper she was about to give me. And you could tell in her face, like, she just really didn't even want to look at the paper. It was in her hand. Like, she was looking at it like, and I was just like, wow, that's interesting energy. I didn't really digest it until after the fact, just thinking about it. Like,
why?
Yeah, like, why was that energy there? And now I know, because this is some bullshit.
Well, they gotta work. They gotta work.
Yeah,
when it comes to Ocasio, they gotta work.
And the fact that you said you ain't never seen no DA respond like this, and I know you're dealing with hundreds. The fact you said you ain't never seen that's eye opening to me as well.
Yeah, they ain't responding, bro. A lot of them don't respond, not in no writing. But this is kind of funny too, because look at this quick thing. It's like a brief search of the interior of the vehicle, illegally without a warrant, disclosed a glass pipe containing freshly burnt cannabis. How do they know it was freshly burnt? Prove it. Because you're imposing, you're assuming, and you're presuming that I was driving, first off on the roads, but then let's just say traveling on the roads under the influence. Prove that it was a freshly burnt cannabis. How are they going to prove that? What scientific tests are going to prove that it was freshly burnt? I'm hitting that point so hard. Because you want to say that I was under the influence, you ain't got no drug test. There ain't nothing, you ain't got no witnesses stating I was blowing that bad boy. But you going to say that, oh, it was a freshly burnt cannabis. Prove it. How you going to prove it? I need it without a reasonable doubt as well.
And did they test what was in the pipe?
Yeah. How they know it was cannabis? Did they test that? You see what I'm saying?
It's almost like they're not proving it, but it's almost implying that they have firsthand knowledge, but they don't.
It's hearsay. It's all hearsay.
Everything is hearsay. Every single fucking number on this shit is hearsay.
But and then, so if you don't rebut it, is it then, is that why they're entering this hearsay? So that
you said the word, you did it. You did it. You did it. You said the word. You want to see the rebuttal? You ready to see the rebuttal?
Hell yeah.
Before you show that, Cam, this is more evidence that they're upping their game. They've changed their game. A new memo got circulated somewhere.
No, they didn't up their game. This ain't no up, bro.
Well, you know what I mean. That's a wrong word. They altered their game.
Tell them
to try and duck and weave against us. They suck, obviously, but it just seems like they're changing their game in response to us. That's all.
I know what you're talking about. It's just like my husband was mentioning a little bit ago about how they're playing that back and forth game where they're trying to throw the ball in your court to try and have to prove that you didn't do something when no, they have to prove you did do something first. They're
I
trying to put the
also
burden of proof on you when
And
it's not.
isn't it relevant to bring up that what's the name of that case where counsel's although flattering to the court, counsel's testimony is inadmissible. So it really doesn't even matter anything that they say because it's all hearsay.
I also didn't mention that it's a different ADA, and I'm curious as to whether my motions caused the ADA to change on the case, because when my latest appearance, she was like, as you know, I'm taking over Claverack, which is the town. So I'm wondering if it's just a coincidence or if I might have something to do with it.
I feel like her shit was. I feel like her shit was fucking AI response, anyways, bro, and a poor one at that.
It looks to me like this response is weakening their game because it goes against the fundamentals of law. The prosecutor is going against his own fundamental ethics of law.
Yep.
Oh, I mentioned that. You know, I definitely had misconduct, prosecutorial misconduct in there.
See, and so this is what we've done now. So this is fresh off the press, but this ain't even 24 hours yet, right?
Right. I still got to go through every case law reference. I still got to, clean it up.
We're tweaking right now. We're in skeleton mode.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So as you can see on this one, y'all, it's the cover page, title page, comprehensive rebuttal to the district attorney's memorandum. You saw how theirs looked. Look at how ours looks. We already killing them on that game. That's number one. Looks, of course, it's very important. Okay, looks is very important. State of New York, people of the state, Ocasio, comprehensive rebuttal. Ocasio, you should start moving from defendant to movant.
Okay.
Something like that, a better title. Then we got our contents. So we got a whole table of contents. We ain't finna play with them. Like, get to where you need to get to. If you need to go ahead and get to everything else, go ahead and get to it. Prayer for relief and all. Then we got our introduction. We're breaking down everything in the introduction for them. This rebuttal demonstrates that the district attorney's arguments are legally unsound and should be rejected in their entirety. We're dismissing everything they got to say. Like, this shit is dumb. Do not listen to them, court. They are dumb as, yeah. The analysis prioritizes New York Court of Appeals authority, supplemented by relevant United States Supreme Court precedent to establish that the court lacks jurisdiction over the defendant appearing in propria persona sui juris. The traffic stop was improperly extended without reasonable suspicion. The prosecution bears the burden of proving voluntariness in statements beyond a reasonable doubt. The defendant has a statutory and constitutional right to suppression hearings, and the district attorney cited authorities, when properly analyzed, actually support the defendant's position. Like, are we about to get something else on the news in relation to the district attorney being caught up for using AI? A poor AI at that? You dig what I'm saying? Because that's literally what happened. Did it not, Ocasio?
Oh my goodness! I think it's very astute of you to notice to point that out because of your experience with AI, and you talking about the media. I think that's even more astute because if this goes further after this, I might have to bring the media in.
Yeah, I might have to write an article. Throw an article up on the webpage. We say we've analyzed this document. It seems as though this district attorney is using AI. Even if we're not for sure, even if it's not 100%, we can still say we think that she's using AI, right? That's my opinion, right? I can have an opinion. Hey,
Absolutely.
Hey now, you see the, you know what I'm talking about? Okay, each section of this rebuttal systematically addresses the district attorney's arguments, exposes their legal and logical flaws, and provides authoritative support for the defendant's position. The document concludes with a comprehensive prayer for relief based on the legal principles established throughout. Part 1. And I'm talking about we going deep. So we laid out now, like, I'll show you what a memorandum's like, DA. You know what I'm talking about? Part 1, jurisdictional challenges and the procedural history. We're going over the aspects of her responses. Man, circular reasoning on jurisdiction. Yeah, killing it, bro. The mere physical presence does not automatically confer jurisdiction. As the New York Court of Appeals has held, quote, jurisdiction is not a light or transient thing. Once challenged, it becomes the duty of the people to establish it, unquote. It's like Jim was just saying. It's like a big deal. They keep rolling over it like it's not a big deal. That's why when Ty didn't give up, they're just like, man, fuck this. We got to find something else. This is not going to work. He will not talk about something else. He won't stop. There's not going to be. Let's just get it out of here. The court further held that jurisdiction is a non-waivable, non-forfeitable element that the people must prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond the reasonable doubt. The United States Supreme Court has similarly emphasized that the party invoking federal jurisdiction bears the burden of establishing its existence. The district attorney's circular reasoning fails to meet its burden. Oh yeah, I remember when I was saying this. I was reading this earlier. Where was that at? Okay, this is cool. Watch this. Circular reasoning on jurisdiction. The district attorney's memorandum employs circular reasoning by assuming jurisdiction exists to prove jurisdiction exists. Did you hear that? Isn't it the best?
That's good, Cam.
It is the best.
That's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, that's exactly
Memorandum
what they do.
employs circular reasoning by assuming jurisdiction exists to prove jurisdiction exists. This logical fallacy is evident in the statement that the defendant is subject to the jurisdiction of this court because the defendant was physically present in the town of Claverack.
Kind of like when they showed you the map, Lana, of the town. This is my jurisdiction.
Mere physical presence does not automatically confer jurisdiction. As the New York Court of Appeals has held, jurisdiction is not a light or... Okay, we read that one. Okay, yeah. Well, we read that. Okay, cool. So the district attorney's circular reasoning fails to meet this burden and constitutes a fundamental logical flaw that undermines the entire jurisdictional analysis. Oh, wow. Did they go point out? Okay,
at the end of everything, it says it undermines their analysis. It undermines their analysis. It undermines.
Oh shit, bro. Undermines. Yeah, there it goes. The district attorneys. Oh, okay. Let's under each one. It does it like that. I ain't read this all the way through.
Damn near, yeah.
Okay. The district attorney's dismissal of these established legal terms as meaning. Oh, okay. Oh, we don't got to go through it, but it's about sui juris and all that. Okay, these terms as meaningless verbiage demonstrates a fundamental misunderstanding of legal status and standing that undermines the entire judicial analysis. Oh my goodness. Circular. Okay, yeah. Misapplication. So the district attorney's selective application of the 14th Amendment constitutes a significant legal error that undermines the entire constitutional analysis. Oh my goodness. This is horrible.
Love it.
This is horrible for her, bro. She's going to be sad. This contradiction demonstrates a fundamental misunderstanding of basic legal concepts that undermine the entire jurisdictional analysis. That's horrible, bro. That's bad. Because it literally just says basic legal concepts. Like, that's bad for you. I'm sorry.
This is why they don't answer anything. Because this is what we come back with.
Oh, okay. Let's see what else. The district attorney's reliance on selective and outdated precedent while ignoring modern jurisprudence constitutes a significant legal error that undermines the entire case law analysis. Oh my. This is bad, bro. Okay. And then this looks like it's... Oof. Factual misrepresentation. The district attorney's statement in paragraph 1 of the memorandum constitutes inadmissible hearsay and lacks evidentiary support. The defendant avers that this statement is not supported by any facts or evidence in the record, and there is no proof to the contrary. This misrepresentation violates the prosecutor's ethical duty of candor to the tribunal under Rule 3.3 of the New York Rules of Professional Conduct, which requires that a lawyer shall not knowingly make a false statement of fact or law to a tribunal. The New York Court of Appeals also has consistently held that prosecutors must adhere to the higher standards of ethical conduct. Oh my God. See, this is where you really hurt them. Because then they get scared. It's like you normally how they see they get us scared by how they talk. And now it's like we're out here scaring them. Like this is a we scare them paragraph.
Yeah, we need to make sure we throw something about the KKK Act in there somewhere too.
Oh, 1871? To safeguard the integrity of all evidence and to seek justice within the bounds of the law. The presentation of unsupported hearsay as fact constitutes a violation of this special responsibility. Furthermore, this misrepresentation may constitute prosecutorial misconduct under New York. Hey, I would say may. You see where this says may? Case.
Yeah, I'm here.
You see where it says may?
Yeah.
I would put furthermore this misrepresentation constitutes. Take out may.
Mm,
Go ahead and call it into existence.
I hear you.
Your eyes, that's what it is.
I hear you.
Okay.
You need to send this into the Judicial Review Board also, because when these prosecutors get like 2 of these complaints per year, I think they lose their license.
Really?
Mm.
Yeah. Might have
Their
to.
bar
Yeah,
card.
I was
Can you search
gonna
up their
draft
name?
I was gonna draft a complaint and just bring it into court. It's in case they wanted to play with me at the next appearance. I was gonna be like, all right.
Well, don't just remember, bro. We're making demands, right, for the judge to do what they're supposed to do. If they're not doing it and it gets to a point where we have to, let's just hit for a mandate, bro. I mean, a mandamus. You know, a mandate. We're a mandate. So,
If I may,
go ahead.
not the command, not demand. Demand still asking, right?
I'm gonna say it like this. I think demand still hits. I think demand still hits. I think when you're coupling it with the notice, a notice is still the highest, especially if it's coming from you in all authority, right? As knowing what you are. If you're coming with that all-knowing authority, not succumbing yourself necessarily to a title of nobility, that notice, number one, that's why it says notice. Notice is the first word. A demand is we're telling you what to do. Now, I'm sure we could get into like a pissy match, but ultimately, notice and demands have been working for a very long time. Could we switch up that one word to command and maybe see some success? Yes. But if the notice and demands that I'm putting forth are working, why would I change it? Right? Now, could I change it a little bit up into a couple other situations to see how it's applicable? Yeah, but I ain't ready for that yet because everything working fine. So we'll wait till that changes up a little bit.
Yeah, it's all semantics.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, which recognizes that exceptionally serious misconduct of law enforcement personnel in the investigation, arrest, and prosecution of the defendant as grounds for dismissal in the interest of justice, as grounds. So the Court of Appeals has recognized that dismissal is appropriate where prosecutorial misconduct impairs the integrity of the criminal justice process. And then he's coming into part 2. Now he's coming into probable cause, constitutional grounds, and evidence suppression. Literally 18 pages. I'm not going to go through all this because I ain't even read all this yet, but this shit is fucking badass. I'm going to tell you that much right now. There's some deep ass shit right here, bro. They fucked up when they responded to us. She fucked up. She literally shot herself in the foot and gave us a win. To be honest with you. What do you think?
No, really. Like all I can be is grateful. You know what I'm saying? All I can be is grateful because God is guiding this and it is guiding us, is guiding this to victory. You know what I mean? And at the end of this, all I can do is say my testimony. You know what I mean? All I can do is say how I became victorious through faith. Through faith and through due diligence, due process.
Okay, now this is the best paperwork I've ever seen. But if we don't go in
Man,
there,
what we talking about? You is a 33-page affidavit in truth? What?
but we didn't have to go this far with my case because that was so good. Okay. But if it gets beyond that, then we got to get even better. Okay. So now we're even better. But my point is, it doesn't matter how good the paperwork is. If we go into court and they say this and they say that and they say this and this and that, and we don't rebut that,
Yeah.
they're going to walk all over any paperwork that we put in. So we got to go in and still pass the oral test. And the easiest way to do that, I think, is the way I did it. I don't want to talk about the paperwork. I already gave you my paperwork. Now I just want to see jurisdiction, and you don't have it. And it's that simple. That's the way I see it.
Right. I see it the same way as well. But what's really cool too is that when we're developing these comprehensive rebuttals, you know, and we're reading, like when we're reading, you know, through the response from them, I was flabbergasted actually. I was like, no, there's no way. Because if this is the response we're getting, it's like, well, at this point, if Ocasio really truly wanted to go make $100,000 a year and become a district attorney, he probably could, because we're drafting things that are way better than them. You see what I'm saying? At this point, it's like, damn, we're actually whooping their ass. You actually went 4 years to do this, and we're whooping your ass. Now, granted, we're using AI, okay? Yes, I get it. But still, we should be winning, okay? Because we are a creation of the creation. We are a creation of the creator, man. It's that simple. Why do they got to make it so hard when there's no crime? I think next we'll probably go to Matthew and Sydney and get their situation and kind of roll through what happened on this next hour segment. We'll actually view it, watch it. We'll show how well Sydney did, how much she's grown. I'm going to take a 5-minute break, check on my kids, make sure everything's good. Y'all have a 5-minute conversation. Y'all come up, talk. Maybe you want to pick Jim's brain if he's still in here. It seems as though Jim hasn't spoken much, but Jim seems to have a good mindset. Was you an old judge, Jim? Is that what you was there, buddy, or old school?
No, I'm just a longtime student.
All right. Well, I love it, brother.
So,
I mean, what I'm kind of interested in is how to go to court, and so far this has been an interesting experience with you guys. So I'm just learning at this point still.
Yeah, get into the Discord and listen to some of the interactions with the court. It's quite entertaining.
The only thing I would mention in this whole system is when Cam puts up, like he's got some cases that he showed about jurisdiction and appearance and that sort of thing. If you could get a link to that, because I can tear that apart and put it in because you got to tailor this to every situation. And so it's just, if you can link the document so we can pull it down, and then I can do some homework with that. But that's,
I have linked every one of those in the chat file at one time. Downloaded them as PDFs and put them in there, so you can get those. And if you're on the Discord, you can get into the overleaf and make your own files and stuff in there and copy.
Okay, I'll look at that. I haven't had a chance to look at that yet. So somebody mentioned the Social Security, and how many? I'm just going to have fun for a second here. How many people in this group here think they have a Social Security number?
Don't everybody know?
None of us.
It doesn't belong to us.
That's a trick question, because none of you have a Social Security
That's
number.
what I told the court. Everyone should tell the court I don't possess a Social Security number. That's what I told the court.
So I'm just going to give it to you in a nutshell here really quick. It says, here's my notes. Anytime for a lawful purpose, property from A is handed over to property B, which doesn't belong to property B, a trust is created.
Constructive trust, yep.
Okay. Anybody arguing that?
No, that sounds good.
Okay.
No.
So what happens here is when you go down and your parents file an SS5 form with the Social Security Administration, a trust is created. Okay.
Yeah, that's constructive trust, right?
No. It's a real trust. It's the real deal.
Oh, you're talking about the SQV that gets created as a result of the all caps name turned into, yes.
No, it could be called a SSQ. I just call it a trust because here's the way it gets put into play. The Social Security Administration is the creator, okay, or the settler, take whatever term you want to use. The beneficiary of that is the United States, and they do that at Title 20 Code of Federal Regulations, Section 422, subsection 103, paragraph D. That card is the property of the United States government and must be returned upon request. They're telling you that in 3 different places. They tell you that in the Code of Federal Regulations. They tell you that on the back of the Social Security card, and they tell you that in the palms at the Social Security Administration. 3 different places they're telling you that's their stuff, and when they want it back, you have to give it to them. Okay? So they've taken ownership of the res of the trust, because that's what gets placed into the trust is the card. That's the corpus of the trust.
Right.
Okay. So anytime that, so now the office of trustee is the trustee is just an office of the trust. It's not you. You lend your consciousness and physical capacity to the office, but when that trustee is doing something, you're not the person doing something. It's the trust that's doing something. And who is the beneficiary of said trust? It's the government. So now think about who's doing business here. It's not the man or the woman, it's the trust. Quit using it. Okay.
I'm confused on United States being the beneficiary. I thought that the straw man was also a beneficiary.
Straw man is that's a misnomer. It's a
well,
trust.
I know it is, but just that the number itself, the presumed U.S. citizen is also a beneficiary. Is that right? I think that's right.
I think what we do is we get now that entity is a business entity of the United States.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So it's by definition it would be a citizen of the United States.
Right.
Okay. Now it's the one that's got the driver's license. The fun part here is if there was actually a damage, who would be responsible? It would be because the trust isn't capable of driving on its own, correct? It's an incompetent. Right. So it would be the state that's responsible because they issued an incompetent license. You could have some fun with that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's another argument we can make for sure.
But so
they don't seem to want to hear any of this stuff in court, though. Just ask Lana. She's got it all.
They don't want to hear it. That's for sure. Okay. But that, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, but that's the reality of that situation.
Yeah.
And now the trick is there's no indenture for said trust. And that bumps into the rule of frauds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you're going to play that game, then you need to get an indenture that's created for that trust. And I can prove it because I actually created an indenture and said, look, guys, if you got a problem with this thing, let me know. If you don't, send me a new card and that's your agreement. They sent me a new card. So as a matter of law now, in their actions, I can prove it's a trust. But I don't use it for much anymore because it's better to leave that puppy alone and do business with us, some other capacity. That's just my one-off for the day for you. So enjoy.
That was cool.
When you say you don't use it, like, what do you mean? You don't apply for benefits. You don't maybe have a driver's license. You don't file a tax return. But what else? Those things?
Use an EIN or something, or
well, you'd have to go. This is where Brandon Williams comes into play, right. And his UCC thing with where you're foreign to that entity called the district or the federal United States, because that's a corporation.
Right.
Okay. So you stay foreign to that. And if you have to get an EIN, which I think I haven't sorted that one out yet, because it seems to me if you're foreign, why do you have to deal with them at all?
Well, if you want to get a bank account, you have to get an EIN or something.
Yeah. And that would be, but then you're creating another, okay. So basically you'd be doing the same thing. You're just doing it foreign. Instead of using the United States trust, you're making a personal trust or whatever you want to call it, limited liability company or whatever it's going to be. But you stay foreign to everything because remember anything. Okay. What did the trust do? The trust bought the house, the trust bought the car, the trust bought everything else you got. And who's the beneficiary again of all this stuff?
Yeah.
So you'd want to get all that stuff out of that trust and put it into some kind of a foreign, and then the trust sits empty except for the card, like it's supposed to.
Right. That's what we're doing on Wednesday night in Discord. We're working on the trust game every Wednesday night at 6 Pacific Standard Time.
Anyway, that's what I know about that bad boy, and what I'm trying to do now is just leave that puppy alone totally, and that's kind of where I'm at with it right now, because there's no reason for me to give the government the benefit of my hard-earned effort.
Right.
That's right.
That's So we're gonna hear about Sydney's party the last week. I really want to hear that.
Yeah, most definitely, dude. I think I think something too that I wanted to let me see, am I on here? Okay, my bad. Something else I wanted to just show really briefly before we just jump into theirs. If you're an Operation Wisedome member, you should come into Tim Florida Trust Business and check out this video that we did. It's zoomed right here at the bottom. You can check out the video. It was I think an hour and a half, maybe 2 hour session that we had with him.
Yeah,
When I
these
first
documents
met
are
Tim,
brilliant.
yeah, when I first met Tim, his situation, he's wanting to open up 10 more businesses in Florida, locations, each to bring in $4 to $5 million each location. I was like, okay, I'm dealing with a, you know, bigger guy here. You know, like, you know, it's really important that we don't fuck this up here, Cameron, at all. And so I pulled in everybody on the first meeting and I was like, hey, I need y'all's help on this meeting. I'm rescheduling it. Can y'all help me out, right? I need some help on this, please. And so I pulled everybody in to try and see if they come in. And Kevin came in and he gave some information that was kind of cool. And I was working on the back end. I was trying to figure out what exactly did he want. So I took the information that he gave me and was really working on it for a while, but really wasn't getting where I needed to be because I'm not like perfect on trust yet, y'all. Straight up, be for real. I'm not all the way there like I feel like I am more on quasi-criminal and civil aspects. But when we got in here, it was very interesting because first off, we started just structuring it out as like what he wanted, where he should go, researching whether The Hague was as important as maybe just the country or place as far as the trust is located, as far as their laws are concerned and protections, right? Those can be a little bit more enforceable than, let's say, this loose Hague Convention agreement, right? And we really just got going in, and within that hour, we put together a whole trust package for Florida. And when I mean a whole thing, I mean this is like 26 pages type vibes with each one ready to literally go. So if you're an Operation Wisedome member, again, these are kind of the perks you get as far as being an Operation Wisedome member. You get to come in here and openly and freely be able to see and formulate your own documents like this. There ain't no, we all transparent here, man. There ain't no paywall to say, oh, it's only for Tim. It's like, if you want it, go get your ass in there and get it. You dig what I'm talking about? And that's what I love about Operation Wisedome, and hopefully y'all do too. So, yeah, that's that. So, yeah. Yeah. Matthew and Sydney, you're up.
I sent you a chat on the Zoom,
The video link?
giving you the video link. It's the new video link that I took out Matthew's audio when we were editing it so that it's not all confusing. So it's like the better audio thing. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to stop share for a second. And we're going to do an intro for Sydney and Matthew. Matthew and Sydney, briefly, before we go into the video, would y'all like to kind of introduce yourselves a little bit more to the world now that we're on YouTube kind of doing this, and or will be, about what happened and what transpired, and just any intros before moving into the video?
Matthew first.
Well, Sydney was just gonna go over to Quentin's house to pick up a cake and finish. What? Who am I?
You're Matthew,
And Matthew,
foundational member of Wisedome.
from December, and I got Quentin started in all this, and he just happened to get his pullover first. So I've been helping him through it all, and then Kate got pullover. I've just been helping everyone out, and then Sydney came here. She moved here in December, and so we've been together since then.
And how's that experience been?
It's great.
Great.
It's great, yeah.
Yeah.
All the pullovers are super fun. It bonds us closer. All that.
Straight up. Okay, so this situation, when did it happen?
So this recent
Wednesday.
experience happened on May 21st.
Yeah, Wednesday.
On Wednesday, and I was just traveling in my own personal conveyance to go to Quentin's house for my cake storage container, and probably less than a minute before after I left the house, I got pulled over by a corporal, number 51. I forget his name, something with a K, and it was a long and he was very upset. I pulled into a school district parking lot kind of thing. What was it, like the Andover Schools?
Services.
Some type of
place.
service place. And it's funny because on March 12th, I just got pulled over the same spot, but I pulled into the high school parking lot, so Andover High School parking lot. So it was right across the street from where I got pulled over before.
And on March 12th.
On March 12th, so now it's May 21st. So it's always the 3, right? And then I called Matthew again because that's what I did in March. And I was like, Matthew, I got pulled over in the same spot, but across the street. And the guy came up to my window and he was immediately upset. I could tell by the demeanor. And he knocked on my window and he was like, hey, I'm sure that you already know this.
Now, this is your second pullover?
My second pullover.
In less than 60 days.
Yeah, I go, yep. Oh, geez. So I'm still working through, the day before I actually went to a motions hearing for my other case. So I was just fresh out of court and the next
Now, there's
day,
a difference
I got pulled
between
over.
these two, though. The difference is on the first one, you were cited, as you should have been, and let go
Yeah.
free on your way, because why?
They told me that, well, I'm pretty sure, I read that it was not an arrestable offense. And I don't know if I can't recall if I told them that it wasn't an arrestable offense last time. And so they didn't, I think Matthew did on we had our one pager with us and he started reading off all these case laws and they were like, whoa, who are these people? And so they ended up just giving me a citation, though they did threaten to break my window the last time in March, but they didn't end up doing that. They gave me a citation. I went on my way. And they didn't even tow my car or anything. They just let me go. And it was for the same exact reason that I got pulled over this time on Wednesday. And
So no moving violation, no pose safety risks to any members of the public.
nope, there was no verified complaint and there was no crime happening at all. It was just me getting a cake container.
So they were investigating a cake container?
I didn't even have it on me, so I don't know what investigating.
It must have
I
been
asked
missing.
several times who was hurt, who's the injured party, and they kept telling me society was.
Wow.
Society. So,
They're gonna
and
explain
I
that.
called Matthew and he has a great response time because within 3 minutes, he was able to come to my rescue. Matthew, I got.
Okay, so we're gonna start it up. Are y'all ready to start it up? Maybe you can do some narrating here and there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You could put
You know
the
what?
caption
You know
on.
what? How about I let y'all share and do the narrating? Would that be okay?
Okay.
And you can pause and make comments where you want.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Multiple participants. No, we do advanced.
You can.
Now, when you share, there's going to be two little boxes that you got to click where it says share sound
Oh, okay.
over on the side, so that it'll share the side. When you click share, you'll see it'll say options and it'll say share sound and optimize for video sharing. Just make sure those are clicked, okay?
Oh, share. Okay. Share stream. Okay.
Is it working? Oh, and then share sound.
Okay. Share sound.
Okay.
Okay. And then and then say share. Wait.
Oh.
Share. And then
Yep.
can you throw it over here so we can see it too?
Good job.
Oh, I just did this whole screen, so.
Perfect. Nice. Good stuff. I'm gonna mute.
Oh my gosh.
Hurry, I'm at the right where I turned again, right when I turned. I'm at Andover Public Schools Support Services.
I was being good and I just jumped up, grabbed my motorcycle, and ran.
Tag is not a registered tag. Is there a reason for that?
Oh, I'm just traveling. So this is when he's gonna come up to my window, and it's funny because he says, "As you already know," so that's pretty discriminatory.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, the reason why I'm stopping you probably know. Your tag is not a registered tag. Is there a reason for that?
Oh, I'm just traveling. I'm not acting in commerce right now.
Okay.
Could I get your? Is there an emergency? I saw your emergency lights on. I'm here to help.
I'm sorry.
I'm here to help. I see your emergency lights are on.
Okay. The reason why I'm stopping.
Is there an emergency?
I'm conducting a traffic stop.
Oh, but I'm not in traffic.
Yes, you are.
Do you know what the term traffic means?
Are you a sovereign citizen? Is that what this is?
Did you say sovereign citizen? And so that's when he said the sovereign citizen. And yeah, so I asked him again, if you heard, I asked him what traffic meant. I was starting to ask the terms because it seemed like he didn't know. Obviously, he was using them incorrectly. So
straight up.
citizen, what does that mean?
Tell me.
That sounds like a derogatory thing. And then he asks me to tell him what that meant. Why would you call somebody a name if you don't even know what that means?
Straight up.
All right.
Assuming that's what you identify as.
I do not. What is a sovereign citizen?
Do you have a driver's license?
I'm not driving, I'm traveling. So I don't need to. This is a secondary offense that you're.
First time
This is a second. I don't know if you guys could hear it, but he said it's not the first time that I've dealt with you guys.
Yeah.
So he's continuing on this sovereign citizen stuff.
Okay, so a blatant retaliation and attack, it seems like at this point then.
It was very hostile. I feel scared already the whole time. Secondary offense that you. What is your name and your badge number? What is it?
We'll barricade.
Okay, Corporal.
Barricade.
Barricade, and then 51.
Yep.
Okay. Are you, Matthew? Are you headed here? And notice he's still not asked my name or anything to identify me. He's just asking for my driver's license, which I think that is illegal for me to give it to him because I wasn't driving. I'm just traveling in my own personal conveyance. I'm trying to follow all the laws.
Correct.
Driver's license.
I don't need to provide you anything because I'm not. You're doing a secondary offense while.
No, man, this is a lawful traffic.
This is not lawful.
It is lawful. You're in the state of Kansas. You have to operate.
Okay. Do you know what traffic means? What's the term traffic? What's the word traffic mean? Matthew, are you coming? I don't have to make this difficult. I'm not making anything difficult. No, I'm not. I'm
One or two ways, and you know how it's going to go.
one or two.
And that's, yeah, he's like, it's going to go one or two ways, and you know how it's going to
Yeah.
go.
What is that supposed to mean?
That
I
and the
never-
aspect he still hasn't asked for your ID. I mean, he still hasn't asked your name. He hasn't even given you an opportunity.
Right. He is only demanding my insurance and my driver's license. Not my name. He's not being friendly at all.
Well, now at this point-
I'm cooperating.
I'm asking you for documents. I need your driver's license and your insurance.
I don't need to provide any of that to you. I'm not acting in commerce. I'm not an Uber or Lyft. No, I don't. Why are you? At this point, yeah, he's trying to open my door now. Opening the door. Am I under arrest or am I free to go? Am I under arrest? Corporal 51, am I under arrest? You're not answering my questions.
Oh, wow.
And I think I asked him 3 times if I'm under arrest or free to go, and he just stops asking or answering questions.
I know that right there is
I
very
feel
amazing
nervous and
because, like that all of these points, actually the point of him trying to open up the door, from that point it's all suppressed, I would think. Because again, that's an illegal action of trying to intrude into the car without having a reasonable articulable suspicion of any danger or probable cause of a crime, while they've already made threats of violence, such as this is going to go one of two ways.
And you already know, yeah, that's
It's like, what are you insinuating? What do you mean it's going to go one of two ways? I'm confused. What are you trying to say? You're going to hurt me for what? What have I done? Yeah, it's bad. It's pretty bad.
Scared, so I'm trying to make sure that this is open. No, I don't need to do that. Oh, and then this is already when Matthew came.
Yeah, I'm already showing up.
2 minutes and 48 seconds. Isn't that a great response time?
Just to record this. Okay, so you can go over there and wait for my stop.
He doesn't need to, his name's Corporal, I don't know what his name is, Barkin. He seems very upset. He already said sovereign citizen.
Oh no.
Yeah, he said, you identify as a sovereign citizen, and I asked him to explain what that means. I have my book, and I just grabbed my thing. As in my book, as in my whole travel binder, and I was gonna start going through the Eddie Craig script, but it kind of got hostile after this. I still have my other citation.
Okay. I'm starting.
I don't even have a tampon. Oh, I was also on my period.
I'm gonna start a recording,
Yeah, do it.
but we have to be off the phone.
Yeah, he was on his motorcycle, so he had a helmet on, so he couldn't, and he needed to, we couldn't be on the phone together, so it kind of was unfortunate, but he did end up videoing kind of right. Oh, okay, yeah.
So the video's been turned on.
That's my car and his motorcycle.
Hey, I saw the text.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting pulled over. Now I'm calling Quentin, the guy that had my cake container. So this is Quentin that's in the group too. By this corporal, he's calling me a sovereign citizen.
Okay, are you recording?
Yeah, Matthew's here and he's getting yelled at by the corporal.
In Andover?
Take off your helmet so we can hear you. Yeah, in Andover. It's literally right where I got stopped before. It's right beside the high school, right on the other side.
Don't worry about me. Do your thing.
Okay, I'm just letting you know.
Thank you.
All right, sounds good.
And y'all are on private property.
Cam? I don't have his number. For some reason, I said I didn't have Cam's number. It was just in the heat of the moment. I forgot all things. I was like, wait, I do have his number.
Look at this guy.
Oh, I do have his number.
Look how angry.
I just don't have Matthew's body.
That shirt's very tight.
He wants to look stronger. I'm calling him. I'm calling Cam. I'm calling Cam.
Step away from the car. I'm not going to tell you again.
He's not. He's just a he's.
Hop out and talk to me.
No. Why do I?
Window if you don't get out.
You're gonna.
Already, he said, "Hop out. I'll break the window if you don't get out."
Is that a threat? Is that a threat? Is that a threat? You're not answering any of my questions.
I don't have to answer your question.
I don't have
Why
to.
don't they make shirts his size?
He says, "I don't have to answer your questions."
Yeah, and I'm confused by that. Like, isn't he? But yeah, I'm not getting pulled over for any reason. This is unlawful.
Hey, it's your boy Cam.
Sorry, y'all. I was in a meeting.
He's okay.
But right now that he's calling his other buddies over.
Yeah, when I'm in the meetings, the notifications are just on.
Okay. He banged the door handle 4 times to try to get him.
He's opening my door handle, and he's not.
Look at him, so desperate. So desperate. For what? For what?
Yeah, what am I doing wrong? What am I supposed to do? He's gonna break my window. Why are you threatening me?
Okay. This last chance.
He pulled me over for an unlawful stop. I'm just traveling.
Stop. Get out of the vehicle.
Why isn't it? Can you explain that to me?
In the state of Kansas, you have to have the vehicle registered. You have to have a valid driver's license, and you have to.
Where's the proof of that? Tell me give me the evidence. What's your badge number and your name, please?
Sergeant Tharp, and I'm sheriff number 30. So
and what's the emergency? What's the emergency? Because I see emergency lights on. I'm here to help.
Or the window's going to be busted out, and you're going to be dragged.
So is that a threat? You're gonna harm me.
It's not a threat. It's a promise.
It's a promise, but isn't that threatening me and my safety?
Get out of the vehicle, or we're going to get you out.
I'm not doing anything
You're
wrong.
under arrest at this point.
I'm under arrest.
You're under arrest at this point.
Okay, you haven't even asked my name. You haven't asked anything.
Now
For
I'm
what?
under arrest too. For refusing to provide a driver's license, illegal registration. Have you shown a proof of insurance yet?
Pause it! Pause it! This nigga, did this nigga just say illegal registration, y'all?
Yes, he did. And we're like, what?
Can we look this up? Can we do a little research piece with you, Matthew? Look it up on the screen real quick. What does illegal registration mean in the state of Kansas? Let's see what we got. We need an illegal arrest.
The other thing I'd point out is you don't live in the state of anything.
Thank you. You're not a resident. You're not required to do anything.
I don't even have a valid driver's license in Kansas anyways. So.
What's it say? Is it illegal registration?
Displaying or possessing fictitious or altered documents. It's unlawful to display or possess any registration receipt, certificate of title, license plate, or decal that is known to be fictitious, canceled, revoked, suspended, or altered.
Okay. None of those
So
apply.
It's faking.
Yeah,
trying to fake registration.
Yep. Thank you.
I don't want-
Counterfeiting. Counterfeit.
Yeah.
Counterfeit, that's it.
Yep.
Paul, that we're not doing. We're not doing
Not
either.
doing.
He said it's not a threat, it's a promise.
He did too.
Yeah, that's another huge one.
It's a promise. This is okay.
And this
I'm
is
not
a
doing
sergeant.
anything
This
wrong.
is a sergeant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a corporal, or I also didn't. I was confused by that, but
At this point,
I'm under arrest.
you're under arrest at this point
Okay, you haven't even asked my name. You haven't asked
This dude
anything.
arrested me
For
so
what?
fast.
for refusing to provide a
held up
driver's
my phone, I'm
license,
like,
illegal
I got this
registration.
recorded.
Have you shown proof of insurance yet? And at
He's
this point,
Okay, wait. Pause. Okay, you gotta talk about what's going on here. What just happened?
go ahead.
Well, so with me, he said, so I see there's no tag here. Are you registered? Do you have a license? And I just said no. And then he said, okay, in the state of Kansas, you have to have that. And I said, well, the state of Kansas is a corporation. He's like, no. And then he just grabbed my hands and turned me around, and it was just that fast.
And so also Matthew.
And then
So you're getting
also-
arrested now for what?
Yeah. Right. What are you getting
Yeah,
arrested for?
motorcycles off, keys were out.
He wasn't.
I had the keys in my pocket.
So he was just
So
arrested.
you literally got arrested and put in handcuffs for what? Sitting on a motorcycle?
Yep.
I don't even think he was sitting on it.
He
was
said
standing
he
beside
said the other guy saw me pull in without a tag.
So it's hearsay. We talked about.
That's
And-
interesting.
And then also something that I don't know what we could do about this one, but he leaned me over the motorcycle in such a way that I had to pull on him to keep myself standing up. Otherwise, I'd fall over. And if I fell over, it would tip over the whole motorcycle and, ruin it.
His kickstand was on his side, so it would have just.
So I didn't want to fall into it and make it fall over.
You know how they have intentional infliction on emotional distress? You could do like an intentional aspect in relation to the assault and or battery.
Also, this cop was being very aggressive with Matthew. He's like, "Don't flex on me! Stop flexing!" He was like literally falling over, trying to like balance himself with this man. He's like being aggressive.
That's standard practice for their record and stuff.
And in
So that
Matthew,
when they
he's
harm you,
so
they have an
gentle. Like, he
excuse.
looked like a little limp noodle, and this guy's like, "You're." In his voice, it just sounded like he was trying to.
Yeah, he really made it sound like.
Oh,
Like he's scared that you're a threat and stuff. He's scared for his life. That's what
Yeah.
they're.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Matthew's big and.
I
soft.
was a limp noodle for this dude.
It's
He was
really
actually-
gross, and it
I would be
makes
scared-
it makes
I would
you
be-
feel like such shit when they do it and stuff, because you know that you're like going above and beyond, like just making sure you're not any kind of threat, and they're like, stop doing that, and like getting scared in their voice and everything, and you're like, this is sick, and it makes you feel so messed up.
I would be scared for them too if they're about to assault my wife.
Yeah.
And I mean the thing too is that like we got to remember these are natural reactions that we're having. You can't do anything.
It's
but flinch.
unnatural for us to react in the way that we do. Like we're suppressing every normal react. Like that's it's crazy. And then yeah. Ugh.
Well, yeah, just people saying that you're not supposed to be able to react naturally as we always do. Just like if someone grabs you like that, of course you're gonna flex. It's like if something's flying at my head, of course I'm gonna dodge it. It's like it's natural. I'm not just gonna sit there and let the rock hit me in the face. Oh yes, please, rock hit me. Bow. Like it's natural.
Yeah.
So
Sneak up from behind me and grab my arm like in an aggressive manner or something. Because I just got arrested the other night for a warrant again, and I was just like, "Whoa, hey, oh, okay, you have a warrant? Like, I'd like to see the warrant." And they're like, then like 4 cops like jumped me, and it was just it's just so crazy. I can't believe they get
we'll have to get into that.
Yeah, it's all right.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead, y'all.
For today.
So I'm interfering. Oh yeah, guys, prepare. My glass is about to shatter all over me. I'm still going to court for the same thing. I don't understand why this is again happening. I still have my citation from last time. I'm still going.
About citation from last time. Get out of the vehicle. You're
this-
under arrest. Plus the fucking window. I don't give a shit.
Oh my God, he just said bust the fucking windows.
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
And he said, I don't give a shit.
Yep.
Yep. And immediately, not even a second later, they start beating the window 9 times.
9 strikes.
Oh my God, bro. 9 times? Why 9?
Because we knew that it was.
Guy's weak.
It took him 9 times to bust the window?
Yeah, be stronger, dude. For that tight shirt, he should have muscles under there. I didn't do anything wrong. You're hurting me. I have glass in my shoes. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, I yelled from over wherever I was at. I was like, Sydney, are you okay? And somehow our videos lined up so perfectly to where like the moment my video ended, hers started.
I had a small amount of video that I wanted to show, but I saw the glass coming in through my window right when I turned it on. It was right after he beat through the window finally.
And Sydney, oh my gosh, she had her phone around her neck.
I threw my phone on I had a lanyard on, it broke now, but I threw it on my neck because I was like, I need this because I was supposed to be calling my son at 7 on a Zoom call, and I was focused on all of that as well as getting arrested at the moment. So I had to make sure I was going to text my son's father with handcuffs on. Like I had to plan all of that, and I was able to do it. And
nice. But having to do this too much.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Come off the car, Bear, okay?
I just have glass in my shoes, so I'm trying to shake them out. It's okay.
You want me to take them off? That way you get the glass out?
That's all right. I think they got it.
Now they want to be nice?
And
yeah, that's how they always work. Once they have you,
into it, might bleed on your stuff.
He'll clean it.
Still have bruises on my wrist.
Was you doing that with your mouth?
I had it on my lanyard, so I had like pulled my handcuff there, and I was like trying to.
You're pulling on the string.
Yeah, I was trying to pull on the string so it could get longer. And it took a while, so this is what's going to happen for a couple minutes. But yeah,
it's so impressive.
And I also went on Discord, and I like, I got onto the general chat, and I was like on the voice call, and then I also like messaged in Discord. You'll hear it there, but
if I may,
yeah,
that word "wrong" is deep. Look it up in Black's Law Dictionary. It's deep.
Okay.
It's not just general.
I will right now.
Wrong.
Wrong.
What'd you share from today?
That's my motorcycle. Never been registered.
A violation of the legal rights of another, an invasion of rights to the damage of the parties who suffer it, especially a tort. It usually signifies injury to person, property, or relative non-contractual rights of another than wrongdoer, with or without force, but in more extended sense.
It is nice that they said it ain't registered too on camera like that though.
Wrong is a very good word. I said it a lot.
When did they Mirandize you?
I don't know if they did. Did they Mirandize you?
I never heard that.
The whole time, even in email, they did.
The only thing though is things in a conversational manner can be submitted. Things that are in an investigatory manner cannot be without Miranda. So
right, I don't know if they investigated me exactly. I mean,
well, questions that are not conversational that you don't want to necessarily have, but you have to because that they're pressing you so hard. You know.
I
Many
finally
things
got
that
it
can.
off my neck a little bit more, so then there's. I called Quentin again, I think.
This
Did
is
they
kind of the
even
place where you
request
learn to
you
keep
to
your mouth
open
shut.
door?
What's that?
Did they ever request you to open your door?
No.
No.
They said
yeah,
maybe
I think
step
he said,
out.
Go ahead and hop out. Hop out.
Yeah, hop out.
But hop out of what?
Yeah, but again, it's unreasonable.
No, they did. They said they told
they instructed her, because that's something that
Get out of
stands
the
out to
car.
me when this stuff happens, because I was getting bit by a dog and I still had to, they wouldn't unlock the door and everything. Like I still had to unlock the door for them, like private property and all that shit, like they're not warranted. And they did in the video. I heard them say,
Get out of
unlock
the
your
car.
window for me.
Oh,
No, they
think
said
you said
unlock
get out of the
or unlock your door for me. I'm saying, sorry. I heard
Oh.
them. I thought I heard them say, unlock your door
I
for
think,
me.
I think you're probably
Yeah.
right. Okay, so now Corporal 51, I think, was at the door and he just opened it and I said, I don't understand why I'm being arrested.
And you just don't talk to me or even answer my questions. I didn't do anything. I've never even been arrested in my life. You guys are the evil people. We're just trying to help you. You should be helping us, protecting and serving, remember?
Ooh, got him. That hurts.
And he just slams the door on her.
Yep, just slams the door. Damn, I've done a wrong to a person I shouldn't have. Damn. That's that moral tug.
I
You know
always
what I'm
make sure
saying?
to look straight into their soul and their eyes and say
Yep.
all that stuff
Yep.
so they can feel it.
For
even if they
real.
don't want
That's for real though. It's ridiculous, bro.
That's a Discord.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the Discord turn on.
Uh-huh.
So these mics we have here, she had the one
Oh
on
yeah,
her.
I was mic'd up, so I had my mic on this whole time. That's what that is.
I'm in the back of a cop car right now.
This is this
They're arresting me, and I think they're going to be arresting Matthew. They told me I'm a sovereign citizen. That's what they asked me if I was, and they're not listening to anything. There are at least 3 cops here.
That was I had a little audio clip that I clipped into Discord on Right to Travel, I think.
Are you gonna give me your name?
Here's the first time, I guess, huh?
Until I identify you either way, so
I don't
make a difference to me.
You're not answering my questions.
I don't have to answer your questions. You answer my
I
questions.
thought you protect and serve us. You serve us.
Now you're breaking the law.
How am I breaking the law?
You're interfering in my investigation.
What what?
I'm asking you to identify yourself. That's it. That's how this all started. This could have went
No,
way
you didn't.
easier.
No,
Yes, it
you
was.
called me a sovereign citizen. That's what you did.
But what are you?
What? I'm a human being. What are you? I'm not a sovereign citizen like you tell me I am.
Okay.
That's not
You have
okay
any
to
injury-
say.
you have any injuries?
Yeah, my back hurts so bad and it has glass in it. You broke my window for no reason. You're threatening me and you're arresting me for no reason at all. For just being human. Can't I just ride? Can't I just travel on the roads? Can't I travel on the roads for free? That's how we are supposed to be alive.
No, no. That's all he kept
I think
saying.
it was like 5 or 6.
Lawsuit. The biggest.
Not a right.
No. Driving.
Oh, there it is! There it is! We got one, coach! We got the phrase! Now we know
Say,
this is what they teach
what did he
them to
say?
say.
What did he say?
Go back 10 seconds.
Yeah. I got it.
Driving is a privilege and not a right.
No.
Stop it, pause it!
Wait.
There it is! Driving is a privilege and not a right. I can't
Exactly.
wait to litigate this in my Hood River. Because what we already established on the record is them saying that and then backtracking and saying, no, you're right. I see you have Black Law's Dictionary. I can't call you a sovereign citizen. I can call this other person a sovereign citizen. Oh, the car's not registered. That's right. It's not my car, right? Okay, well, you're right then. Have a good day. Like, that's how this is supposed to work. But they don't get it for some reason. So what we're starting to see is that through bulletins, emails, some kind of systematic training even, that they are given false information that they tend and end up believing, which is a falsification of the true facts of their own municipal codes, when the definitions like street, public road, county road, highway, or even byway comes up as open, quote, verbatim, open as a matter of right for public vehicular travel, unquote. So when we're looking and knowing these things within, we know that they are right off the bat violating their own code and then trying to persuade us that we're wrong by studying and holding them accountable to their own codes. We're given notice to know the laws in which we conduct ourselves or move in this free realm of being. Why is it then that we are then policed and treated as though we are slave. I've shown y'all the badge and how it started. That badge started off for getting those runaway slaves, right? Those slave bounty hunters. It's the
And
same.
where do they
symbol
get
today.
off teaching these public servants to break windows out? I mean, that's what we need to be going after the state for training these cops to do shit like this.
Yeah,
That's very dangerous. Glass flying everywhere.
It was so I had it was so loud at my face when they was beating it, and so all those 9 times that he was busting it, I kept getting shell shock, and I was confused, and I couldn't see, and it was just that piercing sound of the ringing in my ears, and so I finally came to and clicked on my video, and that's when I was already getting taken out of the car and stuff. But it was hurt. It hurt me. I screamed when when they bust the window, because all that glass just shattered right on my back, and it just stuck in my back and all over. I had it in between my fingers and my toes and just all over me. They didn't care. They're like, well, we gave you chances to hurt me. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is when I was saying no, I wanted him to listen. He was trying to shut the door. Okay.
It's a privilege and not right. If you want free
I'm
travel,
not
then you
driving.
can walk.
I'm not driving.
Okay.
Hey, wait.
Oh, that's what it. But he said it twice.
I wasn't driving. I'm traveling. Traveling is right. It's right.
Got out of Discord. That's what that sound was.
So.
How much longer? I was now calling Quentin.
Oh yeah, now I'm calling Quentin in the back of the car.
Hey, they broke the window and they arrested me and Matthew too. So I'm just in the back of the cop car, and they they busted the window and it shattered all over me. So that's what's happening right now. And also I'm not going to be able to talk to my son, and I'm trying to text Ken right now to tell him that.
Look, pause it. That's big time irreparable harm.
Because I wasn't able to talk to him already, and it's been it was a whole week, because the last time that I was able to talk to my son, I had to reschedule because of freaking court for my other one. Because on Monday I was supposed to call him and I couldn't because I had court. Or I think it was a Monday. Yeah.
That's big time irreparable harm right there.
And then on Thursday I freaking got arrested, so then I had to skip Zoom again. And I was so upset. I was. Quentin's talking. That's Quentin on the phone with me, and he's asking me how I have my phone.
I had it around my neck. I put it around my neck on my lanyard.
Okay, put it on record. Don't worry about me. Call us when you.
I have my recorder on though too. I have my everything's on me.
Was it Butler County or was it Andover?
I don't know. They didn't tell me. I think Andover.
What's the car look like?
He's a corporal. His number is 51. I think it's I don't know. There's 3 cops, sheriffs, or there's a corporal, and then Matthew is on his motorcycle, and I think that's about to get impounded. My car's gonna get impounded. Probably.
Ask them if I can come.
For what crime?
Can come pick it up.
Okay, but they won't listen to me. They just keep shutting the door in my face and telling me that I'm a sovereign citizen.
Okay.
But I'll try if they come back. It says Andover Public Schools USD 385 support services.
Yep, I know where you're at. Okay.
Quentin just knows everything.
Okay, I'm gonna text Ken because I have to get off. Or I don't even know if I can get off of here. I tried to get my phone.
Just leave it on. Just leave it on.
Just
leave it on.
Okay. Oh, they're coming back.
Yeah, just leave it on. I want to hear. Don't pretend you don't.
Well, I'm on the speaker with you, but I'll dang it, he just left, and I was gonna ask him if you could come, but he's so mean. Am I allowed to get somebody to pick up my car? Because I'm assuming you're just gonna. Well, can I have somebody pick it up?
Nope.
Why not?
That vehicle cannot be operated on.
It's not a vehicle. It's my automobile. It's my private conveyance.
Ma'am, you have the right to remain silent, so I suggest you use that. Okay.
I'm.
So
This is what he said.
That's
when I
what
went to the
yeah, that's what he
restaurant.
considers her Miranda rights.
That's not Miranda. He didn't
Yeah, he
speak
said.
Miranda.
Yeah,
That's a statement. That is not a reading of
So I
Miranda. That is a statement.
Yeah. Where am I going? You haven't even told me.
Going to the jail.
I'm going to what jail? What jail am I going to? You can't answer that question? He doesn't answer any of my questions. I don't even know where I'm going. How do I know if you're not kidnapping me? Because you are. You are kidnapping me. I didn't do anything wrong. Can you please tell me where I'm going?
Third time asking.
Sir.
Going to Butler County
But
Detention Center.
Butler County Detention Center. And why am I going there?
For interference.
For interference for what? What did I interfere with?
For driving a vehicle with no registration,
I'm
no
not.
insurance.
I'm not. That's interference because I'm driving a vehicle with no registration or insurance.
Yeah.
Okay. Not driving. I have a right. Well, I have a right to go on public roadways when I'm not acting in commerce. I'm not an Uber driver or Lyft. That's why you guys administer licenses to people. Because it otherwise a crime if you don't.
Dude,
That's when it's
Girl, you're fired.
That's what
that's
I'm
when
saying.
it's a privilege.
Like
I don't have.
Can I say something here? Pause this.
Okay.
Yeah, you have touched on all of the archetypal points that very often don't get touched on. You've said them out loud. You stated your position. You said
like
it.
it's insane. Like your demeanor and everything. Like you're able, like keeping under in this state and everything, and articulating every point like that is so
You've
amazing.
articulated the points and given them notice on specifically the harms. I mean, very often we don't hear all of these words coming out in these traffic stops and these bogus traffic stops. So it seems like this case is going to be juicy. Right? I mean, it might bring to the fore things that we haven't been able to sort of get on the record very much yet.
Yeah, and she's very calm because when they call us a sovereign citizen, what they're expecting for us to get belligerent with them. And when you stay calm like that and you question them and you're on video and you're on their body cam, they can't dispute that.
It's exactly what like the Eddie Craig, like the whole his goal is with that script and what to do. Like you've done that exactly. It's so cool.
Awesome. I'm glad because I didn't read off the Eddie Craig script. I just know in my heart that
You were
it's all the
living and breathing it. Yeah. Like you understand like
So it just
what's
comes-
important about it though. Yeah. Like,
yeah. I'm good under pressure, and I'm just so grateful for all of this because without you guys and everybody in my learning, then I wouldn't have done.
Yeah, after I heard this audio for the first time, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you." I did not. I mean, I knew you had it in you, but like, you did it as perfectly as you could.
Yeah, thanks. And I had glass all over inside of me right now. Not using it as a privilege. I'm using it as my right. What's happening to the person I was with? Can you answer me that, please? Sir? What happened to the free person that was on the side of the road that helped me, that was coming to my rescue, because you guys didn't? What did you arrest him for? Because I saw him in handcuffs. I saw him in handcuffs. Why did you arrest him? What did he do wrong? Well, isn't being detained under arrest if he had said he's not being I don't know if you guys can hear it, but he's not under arrest, he's being detained. And so that's when I said, well, if he's in handcuffs, then he's You're not free to go? I'll rewind
If I
this for
may.
5 seconds. Yes.
Yeah.
Any detainment of liberty is an arrest.
If you're not free to go, then you're under arrest, right? The side of the road that helped me, that was coming to my rescue, because you guys didn't. What did you arrest him for? Because I saw him in handcuffs. I saw him in handcuffs. Why did you arrest him? What did he do wrong? Well, isn't being detained under arrest if you're not free to go? If you're not free to go, then that means you're under arrest. So if you put him in handcuffs, so what's detained mean? Do you know that term? Do you know anything?
You don't know, you didn't tell me what traffic meant. You just busted my windows, causing me harm and trauma and irreparable harm.
Try to argue with the judge about all you want, okay?
So you guys are just the kidnappers, and you're the pirates, huh?
6, I'll be on 3.
Jeez. Fucking called him a road pirate.
He is.
Y'all are driving right now?
It'll happen. It's very soon because then I'm like, where am I going? You haven't told me where. Or, unless I did. Oh yeah, we are driving right now. He's driving.
The dude threatened to have the dog attack me.
Why?
He's like, if you move from this spot, if I see your arms move, I'm calling my canine out to come bite you.
Oh, so another threat?
Yeah. There's a few moments that I don't remember. There's a
What
few
crime did you
times-
commit to be put in handcuffs?
Yeah. What did
Was
he
there
say?
any was there any probable cause given?
And then, he gets 1 foot from my face. He's like, do you understand me?
What did you
About
say?
the dog.
What probable cause was given for him to?
What probable cause, Matthew?
I don't know.
Did you ask him?
I kept saying, who did I hurt? And then he rolled his eyes at me.
Yeah, they don't like to answer any of the questions.
Yeah.
And I guess Matthew said that they were calling him a sovereign citizen as well.
Yeah, they're calling me a sovereign citizen.
Matthew?
Oh, okay. So I did a mistake because I said Quentin out loud and he was still on the phone at that moment. And so then the police officer, he heard me say Quentin. So that's what's going to happen now.
Yes, now he's
Pulling
pulling over.
Where am I going? What are you stopping for?
And I also want to point out, imagine how scary this would be, how the cop just randomly decides to stop and pull over on the side of the road.
Tell me where I'm.
Yeah, he could be pulling you out to rape you on the side of the road, little.
Exactly. That's what I'm gonna say right now, pretty much. What are you stopping for? He didn't respond.
Give me your phone.
Why?
Give it to me.
He just
Why?
opened my door.
Where's it at?
It's on my neck, but why?
First off, pause. Give me your phone. Nigga, I'm handcuffed, you dummy!
He started looking behind me and he's like, where is it? Where is it?
God, I can't stand, bro. Give me your phone. Okay.
Just a second.
Yeah, just give me. And also after we got to the jail, he was like, can you unbuckle yourself? I was like, I am handcuffed, dude. I have to do everything for you. You want me to go take the wheel? Want me to drive? Well, I wouldn't be driving because I wouldn't be freaking getting paid, but.
You're not allowed to be using.
I hope
Why
his
not?
audio was on the whole time.
With that?
I hope his camera was on the whole time.
Oh, I made sure to ask him during the while we were in the car at one point. I said, is your body cam active and your dash cam? And he said, yes, my body cam's on. And I was like, oh, okay. And what about the other officers? And he said, yes. And I was like, oh, because I was trying to get information. I was like, is that do you have to have that on? Is that some type of policy? And he's like, yes. So it's what they must all have it. So I'm gonna be excited to look forward to
Before you unpause, briefly just touch base on, we see someone commenting about class action, and so I responded to that, and I just wanted to maybe speak about, just touch base briefly on maybe why this could be a class action as far as others are concerned within your situation and how that implicates others such as Quentin and Kate.
Well, everyone I know here, because I've only just moved here in December.
On the last little bit of it.
What's that? Oh, everyone I know has been either arrested or illegally stopped in Andover and the surrounding areas.
Yeah, everyone in this area, it is so bad over here. Like even yesterday, within like a 4-hour period, outside of my window, we witnessed about 20 pullovers in like 4 hours. And that's just this intersection right here.
There must be some.
And everyone I know has been pulled over several times a year. And everyone's so upset and no one knows what to do. And I'm like, guys, we got to do something. And now these Butler County people have lined up the street. It's in like a 5-mile strip. There's always like 4 cops, one per mile.
Okay, so talk about how, again, though, that this might come into speaks or development of a class action lawsuit. How could now, from this pullover, there could be a class action lawsuit brought forth, in your perspective?
Mm. I know from one thing we put in the affidavit is a lot of people, my family and a lot of people we know will specifically not leave the house or not attend like family events or gatherings because they're afraid they won't be able to make it back home.
Well, not just that, but look at what has happened to Kate and Quentin. I guess that's the direction I'm going at. You've seen,
yes,
yeah,
because
yes.
now like Quentin is so afraid that he's wanting to start registering his cars again.
And didn't they just get pulled over again, Quentin and Kate?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
irreparable harm.
And didn't Quentin just go to jail?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're seeing is like an attack, which is like attack on y'all's liberties. As a group of people now, all of y'all have been attacked, ticketed, cited, threatened, broken. Now it's gotten to the point where they're breaking windows when there's never been a crime. You've never hurt anybody. The only people getting hurt are you for literally standing on your creator endowed rights. And that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Yep.
All right, keep going.
Because you're kidnapping me and
I'm gonna just rewind a little couple seconds right here.
You're not allowed to be using the phone.
why not? Because you're kidnapping me and being a villain?
Watch your hair.
Who said? Where's your policies? No, that's mine. You're taking my private property now.
And he's taking my phone and my recorder now because he saw my recorder on my screen. But I tried to edit.
He just took my phone and I think it's still on, Quentin, so just stay on the phone with me. How are you allowed to do this? Where's your policy? Why can't I see anything? Why aren't you telling me? You're making me very scared for my life. When you stop on the side of the road, I don't know what you're gonna do.
You're gonna be just fine.
I'm not just gonna be fine.
So yeah, I was saying when you stop on the side of the road, I don't know what you're gonna do to me. So, and he's like, oh, you're gonna be just fine. How can you say that?
How can you trust
I'm
that?
not just fine. I'm traumatized, and I say that, but I don't know how well you guys can hear this.
I have trauma now. You just gave me irreparable harm. I've never even been.
Go.
I don't
I've never been in trouble in my life, and you're making me feel like I'm a villain and a criminal. You are the one. You and
You're putting all of it on the record too.
We gave you several warnings to cooperate.
I didn't do anything wrong, and I was cooperating.
Well, that's the
Fuck
problem.
your warnings.
You don't follow the law.
There you go. He says that's the problem. You obviously don't follow the law.
You don't follow the law.
You don't follow the law.
Their money, their lives away.
Let's take your money.
Oh, there. And then this is the part where
Yeah, then she's like, you're taking their money and taking their lives away. And then he says, I'm not just taking your money.
I'm not taking your money. And then I was like, well, my time is money. And he says,
Oh,
Yes, you are. What is this? This is my time. My time is money. My time is
In that
money.
case, you were traveling for commerce. Then.
did you hear?
Look at that, motherfucker. Get it?
Acknowledged it.
Fucking set it on the record.
He knows. They know.
That's what we're doing for commerce.
Oh, so he actually knows what he's doing. He just stated
Slave
it.
trading.
Yep, he just stated it. Perfect.
What did he say? I couldn't hear. What did he say?
Go back. Replay it. Go back.
Yeah, just do a 10-second right there.
he says, well, in that case, you were traveling for commerce then, because I told him my time is money.
Not if it's lawful money.
That's good.
Not if it's lawful money.
You're kidnapping people and just taking their money, their lives away.
Let's take your money.
Yes, you are. What is this? This is my time. My time is money. My time is
In that
money.
case, you were traveling for commerce. Then.
He said we're traveling for commerce. We're traveling for commerce. That's him.
Yeah. He said, I don't know if you guys could hear, but he says, well, because I was there, obviously. Well, in that case, you were traveling for commerce. And then he laughs at me after, because I wanted him to say it one more time. So I'm like, because I heard him the first time, but I was like, what? And so he says it again.
Yeah.
In that case, you were traveling for commerce. Then.
Oh, so now you're going to say that?
Now you're going to say that? And then, he laughed right there.
He did laugh, yep. Bro, the Hallelujah song
Oh,
needs to
you
play
can't
right
really
now,
hear
bro.
it, but I said, well, you laugh now, but I hope you can sleep at night with all the people that you've hurt.
Ooh.
My son and my family and everyone who actually loves me. I'm crying at that point.
And you gotta let them know, because when you know, you know, and especially when you ain't done nothing wrong, you can't nobody say anything bad about anything
Yeah,
that
what if
happened
that was
because
his
of what
daughter
they did.
or his granddaughter?
Yeah. Anybody's person. Nobody deserves that. Nobody has to, you can't sit, nobody can sit here and justify and sit here and say you deserve to have your window broken because you didn't have a driver's license or you didn't have any other single thing. There is nothing that you can justify other than a true warrant and some kind of egregious, harmful action that this person has. It's even hard to say alleged to have done, right? Because if you're just alleged, you're still innocent until proven guilty.
Yep.
So it's hard for me to even say that it's okay for them to break the window even off of an alleged crime.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Without being there already a conviction of you being proven to be guilty. Because until that moment occurs, you're innocent. And so it's like, man, it's you got a big ass check coming. Damn.
Is it in their policy and procedure in where your state that you're in for them to break your windows?
Well, the last time that we were having this situation happen, the arresting officer for Kate said that it was that this isn't even an arrestable offense. So I don't know why he's just because he's trying to pretend he's strong and because he has the power over me that he can do whatever he wants, and that's not right.
I think it's in their sovereign citizen handbook.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. There's a lot now that since we're in since he's driving to the jailhouse right now, you can't really hear, but Matthew and I wrote up exactly what we said on this next part. But he's asking me for my name again. I'll just play it, but I can read it.
I don't know your name. I don't know your name.
I told him to go ahead and look me up because I was just at court yesterday for the same thing. So I was like, I'm in your system. Let's see. I'll just start.
I highlighted where we were.
Well, okay. So let's see. I don't like it being. Oh, in that case, you were traveling for commerce then. And I said, what? And then he said it again. You're traveling for commerce. He said traveling too. It was interesting. Instead of driving. Now he's using my terms, but in the wrong way. I don't know if that was on purpose for him. He laughed at that. I said, I hope you can sleep at night with all the people that you've hurt. I didn't do anything wrong. Now you're taking me from my son and my family and everyone that actually loves me. He replied saying, are you going to give me your name? I then explained how everyone I know, including myself, is living in constant fear, afraid to leave their homes because of the police conducting illegal stops and no crimes have been committed. I mentioned this because not one of my friends, family, peers have ever harmed anyone. I'll skip down to more of this.
More the actual quote.
Yeah, let's see.
That's more.
Oh, and then I said, I never even read my Miranda rights. And I said, like, that's not okay. He replied, I'm not asking you for any incriminating questions. I already told you your rights. I told you that you have the right to remain silent. Then I said, you have the right to remain, wait.
Yeah.
Then I said, you have the right to remain silent. And no, that's what he said.
Oh.
He said, you have the right to remain silent, and I suggest you remain silent. And I replied, that's the only right I have? You'll have, and then he said that I'll have my day in court to argue with the judge all I want. And I said, that's my Miranda rights right there? Or do you not know that either? And then he went on, he said, apparently you don't even go by Miranda rights, so I don't understand why you're even worried about that. I'm not asking you for any incriminating questions, so that's Miranda rights. Just saying, you have the right to remain silent, so I just suggest you use that one time that he said it before. And then he said, we can have a normal conversation or you can just argue with me. And then the conversation continued regarding terms, how to properly address another. And I mentioned his use of the word sovereign citizen because he was like, what do you want me to call you? And I told him to pretty much call me a woman because that's what I was. And he was like, well, that doesn't flow properly or something. And I was like, sovereign citizen doesn't flow properly either. What, like, and I said, and then he said, you have your terms for us. And I was like,
and he didn't explain what that
Yeah,
meant.
so I was
that
confused.
leads us to believe I put that she was confused by the response because it shows that he's prejudiced because they already are taught that we have certain terms we use for
Since
them.
different citizens have different terms. So I'm like, so what does that mean? He's still going on about like that situation. So I'm like,
Which I
interesting.
think him just saying you have terms for us is proving discrimination.
Yeah, it's like what, because I was confused. I was gonna say you're a well, I did say to him, I was like, I like terms, I was confused. I was like, you're a police officer. And Matthew explained to me what police means, like the word police. What does it mean, Matthew? The word police?
Police means like a plan to kill many.
Like if you break the word down, that's what a plan to kill many is, what police is. And so I was like, you're a police officer. And then let's see, I arrived at the Butler County Jail after that, and then he started going through my wallet, which had my California driver's license in it, and all my cards and stuff. And I told him that he didn't have a warrant, but he ended up just looking through it anyway. And that's pretty much when I went into the jail.
And then we all know what happens in jail. So anyway, so that's it.
How long were you in jail for?
I was in jail for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, almost 5 hours, so 4.5.
And then you bonded. Did you bond out?
What's that? Oh yeah, it was $3,000. Matthew and Quentin had to come and do a $3,000 cash bond, well, in money orders, because that's all they accept is money orders.
Yeah, well, you
So
getting
he
all
had,
that
like-
back. You getting all that back. This shit's getting dismissed. So it's good y'all did it like that. So you can get all
Did
that.
you sign the
back.
bond under duress by chance or anything?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So that's another thing, because I was doing under threat and duress, and then I would sign my signature, and the booking officer, oh, he hated me. He would send me back to my cell because he was like, if you're not going to comply, then you're going back to your cell. And I was like, so you're going to imprison me if I don't comply and sign these things, and I'm not allowed to sign it under threat and duress. And he's like, that's not your signature. Only your signature is allowed to be on there. And I was like, where's your policy? Like, what says that I'm not allowed to sign it in the way that I want to sign it? Because this is under threat and duress. I don't want to sign any of these things. And he was asking me all these questions, and he was like, if you don't comply, you're going to go to your cell until you do. So I was like, so now you're taking my rights away? And he was like, well, you give up your rights when you go to jail. And I was like, you're forcing me to go to jail. I didn't do anything wrong. And now I just have to comply with you. Otherwise, I'm just going to be in prison for eternity then. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, what? How is this legal? Like, it's not.
Did they
So
sleep deprive you? I'm sorry to jump. When you were in jail, did they sleep deprive you?
Well, I was only there for 5 hours, so I didn't sleep anyway. I was
Oh,
just
that's right. You bonded.
but when I was doing like my fingerprinting and stuff, he was telling me how I committed 4 crimes, and if I just didn't commit crimes, then I wouldn't have fear in my life. Because I told him, I was like, I can't even leave my house without fear of you guys hurting me or anyone I love. So I'm scared to even leave my house. And he was like, why are you so scared if you've never been in trouble? If you just don't commit the 4 crimes like tonight. And I was like, so now you're telling me I committed the crimes? Like, I haven't even went to court. These are alleged. Like, what are you talking about? It was terrible. So anytime that I wouldn't comply, then he would tell me I had to go back to my cell.
Sarah asked how did they come up with the $3,000 bond? We decided that they just play roulette, whatever their bond will be that day, because also that day a mayor of the town nearby, he got arrested and was put on a $3,000 bond.
This is the defendant is charged with the crimes: vehicle registration, okay, no insurance, license not carried, and then interference with law enforcement officers. That was my crimes that I committed.
And they made her cross out under threat and duress.
Yeah, so this is the time when, like, the paper I was signing, and I was trying to do under threat and duress, but I was so stressed out that I put under stress and duress. And that's because it was like the freaking document I had to sign, and I was like trying to get out of there. This was after Matthew had paid the $3,000, and he was like, okay, I have 3 things for you to sign. And so I signed that, and he stood up and he's like, go back to your cell. And I was like, what did I do wrong? I'm just signing. And he's like, I told you before, you do not sign under stress, the threat and duress. You're signing only your legal signature, or you're going to stay here and be a prisoner. And I was just crying, and I was like, what? I was like, so I had to cross it out and sign that I crossed it out. And then after that, he forced me to sign just my name, or I would have been there forever.
That's legal advice.
All right, so before we close this bad boy out, we're gonna look at something real quick. So we're gonna look at this quick legal analysis authority of Butler County Sheriff's Office to break car windows without a warrant.
Hey, while you're pulling that up, Cam, it's just to make a point, we should all start FOIA-ing our local police departments or sheriffs for what is their policy regarding sovereign citizens. It is clear the word sovereign citizen is in the ecosystem and it's part of their policy. I yield.
Yeah.
Yes.
I asked probably I mean at least 5 times when I was in the jail, like, please give me your policy for this, like your department policy, because I don't know why I have to tell you every single thing about my life. He had asked me for my tattoos. He was going to take pictures of my tattoos. And he's like, so had his camera out and he's like, I was like, why do I have to tell you what tattoos I have? And he's like, well, if you were if you just died or were thrown on the side of the road or something dead, then that way your family can identify you. And
Wow,
I was
that's
like,
nice.
I don't want them to. And then so he was like, well, do you have any tattoos on your arms or legs? And I was like, no. And he's like, oh, okay, then that's fine. What's the next question? I was like, what about me thrown on the side of the road? The only reason he asked me for my tattoos was so that they could identify me if I was walking on the road or street or somewhere, so that they could know who I was.
Of tattoos to see if you were like part of a gang or not. I thought that was the only reason why they did that.
Well, he told me
It
it's
used
so
to
that I
be.
could be identified if I was dead. So
Yeah, and that makes it almost sound like they're trying to disappear you or something. That just
yeah,
sounds creepy.
I'm like, hold on.
So they
Sounds
can,
like a threat to me.
But then he had no problem not taking a picture because it wasn't on my arms or my legs. So, because I
Well,
had them on my rib cages, and I was like,
So the KSA 22-2401 states that the statute outlines when a law enforcement officer may arrest a person. When the officer has a warrant, when the officer has probable cause to believe a warrant exists, or when the officer has probable cause to believe the person is committing or has committed a felony, a misdemeanor, and the officer has probable cause to believe that the person will not be apprehended or evidence will be lost unless immediately arrested. The person may cause injury or self-harm to others or damage property, or if the person has intentionally inflicted bodily harm. So it looks like
None of that's lawful.
key limitation for traffic infractions, subsection D, specifically states that any crime except a traffic infraction or a cigarette or tobacco infraction has been or is being committed by the person in the officer's view. Well, there's no crime. So
Yeah.
while in the commission of driving, right, in traffic, there was a crime that was observed. The statute does not explicitly authorize breaking car window for failure to identify. Stopping and stub at key limitations, reasonable suspicion of criminal activity, note. Courts have not issued definitive rulings specifically addressing window breaking during traffic stops. Do you want to set precedent?
Yeah.
You want to set precedent?
what's a precedent? Explain.
That's
please.
Supreme Court case law.
Supreme Court case law.
Yeah, you know when we reference cases in our documents.
Yeah. Like,
Do you want to be that person that's Sydney versus Butler County?
Oh yeah.
yes. Yes, sir. No, not sir.
Yeah, and
feel
I
like
think
that's what
Kansas definitely needs it too, because Kansas, I don't know if anyone's gone and looked recently, but Kansas has completely redone their statutes. There is no more transportation code in Kansas. It has been divvied up apart upon all the different statutes, but they still have the same definitions and everything.
Huh. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they've Kansas this year has butchered their statutes and everything.
I find it very cool though that aspect's there because you got a lot of plays. Honestly, if it's getting to the point where again they're just being so repetitive, we see a repetitiveness of what they're stating, which is driving is a privilege, not a right. And it's like I agree.
Yeah, exactly. And I
What
wasn't driving.
yours-
So thank you
yeah.
for saying that on the record as well. They
Thanks.
did great for me.
Yeah, they
Spoke
did.
a lot of things that will help my case even more. And
yeah. You're strong.
thank you. And just real quick, the word traffic, it literally the first thing, commerce, trade, sale or exchange of merchandise, bills, money, and the like.
Yep.
I wasn't in traffic. I
You weren't
wasn't
at
acting
all.
in commerce. None of that.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I want everybody to unmute and tell Sydney how well she did. We've got so much work to do, but y'all unmute and tell her how well she did. We're about
Sydney,
to
you
get
killed it.
Awesome.
You
Great job,
killed
Phenomenal
it.
job, Sydney.
Great job.
You're
You're a rock star. Good
The
job.
bomb. He did really well.
Good
He
job.
did
Hey,
exceptionally well given the circumstances.
hit the
I've
points,
never
man.
seen
You hit the
anybody do
points.
better.
We're
Yeah,
so
look
proud
at
of
this.
you,
You just set the
girl.
bar. You set the
You're a
bar.
magician, dude. You're a magician. You said magic spells. You said
You're
words
better
with
than them.
letters in them. That's called a spell. You
You're
put a
working.
spell
Yeah,
on
you
those
We're
bitches.
alchemists.
just
Is a big.
avoided.
It's a higher position to be an alchemist than it is to be
Yeah,
a
you
magician
broke
because we
their
don't
There
play their
wizard.
you go,
Yeah,
games.
pick a
Queen
good
Bee.
word.
Say it,
Absolutely.
baby.
I'm down with
Yes.
that.
You
You're
broke
Yep.
alchemist.
their shit, their bonds and their chains and stuff that they're always spitting. So that's
Thank you.
You
That's
still cast a
right.
spell on those bitches. You made them spell their own selves. Aha.
Yeah.
With Matthew right by your side. Look at
Yeah,
this.
always.
I thought this whole issue was settled years ago. My dad went hand to hand with some guys in a gang called the German Nazis when they were saying, "Give me your papers."
It didn't.
Exactly.
It only took a hiatus, and now it's back because we're pushing the envelope.
They gave my dad the little thing called a Purple Heart when he put down the Nazi, and they shed my dad's blood.
Oh my gosh.
So
You're still
Matthew,
here
what
fighting,
happened to
though,
you?
Papa.
The
But
CIA
wait,
took over the playbook.
but Bob, we still here fighting though, bro. And it's cool that you here with us, fighting with us, and you still got that spirit going. And we
Absolutely.
ain't stopping, bro. We here, bro. Like it's time, bro.
have a sugar written on the lid.
And it's really coming. And you can see it from young to old, man. Like this time is the time in which we change it, but it's all through that positive unity side rather than just like, you know. So if we continue showing how egregious these actions are to good,
We need to do
moral
it.
standing Americans, bro.
We
Like,
need to do it with our faith and our strong will and our love of freedom in the words that justice and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights give us.
most definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, not just that they give us, but that they support, right?
Amen.
Because it's already given from birth. It's already given from creation.
I
We
know,
are
but
creation.
it's the hammer we use against them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's the guidelines in which they must abide as servants to us, the great I am, collectively. Y'all check it. Y'all check it. Hold on. We ain't done. We ain't done yet. We just done with YouTube. YouTube, we see y'all later. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye, YouTube.
Later, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.